One thing that the Do Nothing boycott revealed and brought to attention is how many problems there are in the comic book industry. So I thought today we would do what we do best, and that is talk about what is happening right now in comics, because there are a lot of positive things that are happening. I don't think it's all negative, but I want to diagnose the problems that we typically discuss in comics and talk about where we are in terms of progress. And I've got a feeling that some of the problems that the comic book industry faces are immutable. Some of them are just baked into the business. But we'll talk about that. To have the conversation, we've got Marco,
Celsius.
Tyler,
Prognosis, terminal.
and making his return, spinning the block from his epic performance last week, we've got Captain Chris on board.
Was it epic? I didn't register to me as epic. How are you guys doing, by the way? The city, it was still intact? Knicks up 2-0?
It was pretty
How
fun
are we
last
feeling?
night. Yeah,
Fireworks.
I was driving over the Koch Bridge last night, right after the game, and the whole skyline was blue and orange. Like all the big buildings had like lighting effects. I was like, I understand sports, and I hate that as a nerd, I'm starting to get it.
Yeah, man. For those who don't know, I'm from Jamaica, Queens, so I'm tapped in with the Knicks, man. This is a good time, man.
That's a dox myself and you. What?
And I'm Sean. Thank you for being here. Whether you are live or in the future, make sure you like the video. We are going to have one today. I'm telling you right now, we are going to have one.
Have you taken your blood pressure medicine today, Sean?
I don't take blood pressure medication, but it's too early for the antidepressants. So I am all about it this morning. I am in the right mood for this episode.
Okay.
And we're going to have a good time. But I want to say first, before any of that I'm really, really happy to see everybody in chat. You guys make my morning every time we get here to do this. I've been waiting for this Saturday for a while. Let's waste no time. Saturday. Yes, actually, literally, yes. Let's waste no time. So the problems of the comic book industry are numerous. And I think we can all, throw a few out there. I want to see some in chat. What are the problems of the comic book industry? What comes to the top of my head, of course, we're talking about FOC, right?
Okay.
We're talking about promotion or the non-existence of it. Sales data, new readership onboarding, just all kinds of things that I think the industry has problems with. Price. And I don't want to focus on any particular company because I think that's a waste of time. I think that the ills of the comic book industry affect the whole industry. I don't think there's a publisher that doesn't have these problems. What publisher doesn't have an issue with final order cutoff and explaining how it works? That's just how comics are. What publisher doesn't have problems bringing in new readers? DC. Other than them.
Yeah. They're doing okay right now.
Those compacts. Distribution. See, this is what I was hoping you would do. Throw those answers in the chat. I want to see that. Variance, says Cheeks. What's up, Cheeks? I've never seen you before.
He says Cheeks.
You can't just say, what's up, Cheeks?
Yeah.
Double cheeked up on a Saturday morning? Dude.
There you go. Yes. X-Men. Tyler just said X-Men.
I mean, yeah, like my brain went to like Marvel, and I know you don't want to go specific to publisher, but like I think there are issues with Marvel that are emblematic of bigger issues across the board. Like especially with the big two, short-term thinking of things short-term in terms of getting a quick pop. That could be new number ones. It could be ongoings that aren't really ongoings. So a lot of stuff like that jumps out to me as a reader.
Just lack of planning, lack of forward momentum, forward thought.
Seeing a lot of price in chat. That's definitely one that's on the
Mm.
forefront of my mind. Like as my pull list like continues to grow and sway and all that. And then you've got Marvel now with this new Midnight line. It looks like they're trying to sell this at $5.99, not just beyond the number
Oh.
one, which $5.99 comics is, oh boy, that's no bueno.
And that's more than just the Hickman X-Men.
I think
It's
it's
all
gonna be
three?
all because they're gonna have those covers. What are they called?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
what they're calling the veiled covers, whatever they're calling it, but the
Oh,
same
right.
ones we saw for DCKO.
They're die
which
cut,
they-
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, them's ain't cheap. Like if they're gonna be doing that for every single issue, you can't see a scenario where they don't sell these comics for less than $5.99.
Yeah. CW Gordon,
We
hold
could
the
start-
line.
We could start right there, honestly, at price. Because the price of comics is too damn high. It just is. When we started with comics costing, cents, and I made the argument in the past that comics were underpriced for the value, but now they're overpriced for the value.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you said that, Sean, you caused this. This is you.
Mhm.
Karma.
I feel like $5.99 for one individual 20-page comic is as close as you can get to robbery. There's no if Absolute Batman was $6 and it was the only book that was $6 in all of comics, I would say, you know what? Yeah, that's fine. Okay. No big deal.
Get Dragoda, sure.
But that's not how it is.
Yeah.
There are books that are $4 or $5.99 that are dog water. And obviously Marvel and DC and other publishers aren't like, well, actually this comic is kind of ass, so we're gonna charge less for it. We do that on our end where we're like, this comic is kind of ass. I'm not spending that amount of money for this.
We warn you, don't buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think to further that, right? Like the idea of comics are too expensive, that bleeds into a lot of different things, because then that means that the number of comics that you can buy in any single purchase diminishes greatly. It almost in line with the dollar amount that goes up. You go up $1, you can probably buy one comic less, right? And so that I think is, yes, it's getting expensive, but it's means that you have to consolidate the quantity, and really because of history, because of the longevity, that means that that dollar consolidates into Marvel or DC, and that hurts comics as a whole.
And the thing is, like, when you take into like just the cost per time enjoyed for comics, I won't get into the numbers like Marco because numbers scare me, but just the idea of that, like, I'm paying $6 now for a comic that I am done reading in 15 minutes generously. That then maybe I go back to, or maybe it just sits in a box, right? That I can pay double and see a movie for 2 hours. I could pay then 4 times as much and maybe buy a video game on Steam that satisfies me for 40 hours, So just the time investment per cost is expensive. It is a luxury good at this point.
Read slower, Tyler.
Yeah.
I
gaming-
read slow, dude.
The gaming example I feel like is a good one, because you could purchase a game for 40, 50, $60 or whatever, and that game could give you value for some games, like hundreds. Think about Witcher or something like that, like hundreds of hours of content. Whereas like I spent this was a pretty light week this past week for me, like 40 something bucks, $50 at my LCS, and I got through those books mostly in an afternoon. And at the end of the day, with comics, like there is the added value of the collection aspect. Like this is a book and a piece of art essentially that you will have in perpetuity. But yeah, knowing that you have to do that every single week, though, that's just 1 week. What if next week we're getting an event book and then you want to get variants, and it starts to stack and stack and stack if you're someone who wants to read the amount of series that are out there?
Well, to that, Chris, I challenge it only because I don't keep the books. Once I read it,
Whoa,
they're
okay,
either getting
alright,
chopped up
alright.
or they're out the door.
Yeah.
And So then that to me diminishes even the value of. There is no value of collectability because for me inherently it's the reading pleasure and it's isolated to that.
Digital,
the value
yeah.
is your art supplies, so it's actually more valuable for Marco.
Well, it depends on the book, right?
I said I would never lead a boycott, but I do want to suggest one today.
No, don't do it. Don't do it to him.
And you know, right? Like, who buys one comic? Nobody. I don't know a person who buys one single comic.
Yeah, I've done it once and I questioned myself.
Like, oh, what's your pull? What's on your pull list, dude? Oh, I'm just buying X-Men.
Absolute Batman.
Oh, the whole line? No. X-Men. Jed McKay, X-Men. That's it. Who's doing that? You know, when you think about the price of comics and the idea that no one buys just one, you start to realize like this is a huge problem. Chris just said I had a light week. I spent $50.
Serious. That's just if I go all the way to my LCS, like I'm getting more than one book.
Yeah.
Like I'm coming back with more than one title. If I'm gonna physically go to a location and purchase things, and then also they're all just there, just staring at me in the face, like books and things that I could be consuming and stories I could be consuming. Like I'm not gonna come home with a $5 purchase. No.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, if the one comic they're buying is Absolute Batman, then fine. But if you're talking anything else, who's buying just one comic? Who has that? Who has that little interest in what's happening in comics? There's too many good ones.
Yeah. And that's just talking about it from the collection of the week-to-week Wednesday Warrior too. Like we have, omnibus collectors that are in the Discord. Like omnibus collecting, it's its own monetary gamble. That's just like, hey, this one might be out of print. Do I pay full price now, or do I wait for maybe a sale? And then, but like at minimum, those people are spending $100 on one book.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you go to your LCS and buy omnibus, you're a bit of a rookie. No one spends $100 on those. Yeah. I've never in my life spent $100 on omnibus. I don't think. But yeah, if you do, here's your education. Don't do that. Go to one of the various websites that are able to charge like 50% less.
That we won't name until they give us a sponsorship. Yeah, good job, Sean.
They all have sponsorships. Every other fucking channel is sponsored by one of these damn websites but us. What's going on?
Or boycotting them.
I know a channel with less than 2,000 subscribers that has a store sponsorship. But even if you leave the land of the big two, you're still talking about a bare minimum of $3.99.
Yeah.
Sometimes these books are $4.99 outside the big two. What are we talking about? There has to be a way for there to be pricing that's more dynamic. If we're talking about solutions, pricing that's more dynamic and reserving the high end of price for very, very, very legitimately rare cases. If you want to charge me a premium dollar for an event, I'll accept that. That makes sense to me. If you want to charge me a premium dollar for an oversized issue 1, that makes sense to me. But outside of that, and a blind bag. But outside of that, I really don't think there should be comics that are more than $3.99.
I wonder if to that point, the frequency of number ones, the frequency of the event, the frequency of the blind bag has made it so that we don't get to a point where we get the $3.99 because we're constantly bombarded with those restarts, with those, to your point, Sean, the premium versions of the things that we would then charge. Oh, it's a number 1 for a new mini for the Sorcerer Supreme, right? Oh, it's a new number 1 for this new arc of a thing. And so continue to bombard the system so that you never get to a point where we're 15 issues in and we have to drop the price because, well, it becomes a little unsustainable at some point.
I mean, I'm trying to find the justification for the cost of comics, right? It doesn't feel like, at least at the big, or at Marvel, through some circumstantial evidence and some people telling us that Their page rates aren't the best. They've been better. So it's not like that money is going to the creator. Is it more expensive to print things? Probably. There's, the whole, tariff situation, but then that wasn't affecting comics in a way because it didn't affect magazines or some shit like that, or books. So like I can't even pinpoint where it's like, oh yeah, this is why it's more expensive, other than the companies just want more money.
Well,
it's just greedflation in comics.
there is an ancient wisdom presented by one of my favorite people to quote on here by far, and that is Dan Didio.
Oh,
The GOAT.
Yes, who said that one of the strategies employed by DC when he was there, and I'm sure Marvel as well, is that when you notice that you have less readership, if you raise the price, you can retain. You'll lose the edge, right? You'll shed the edge of your readership, but the core will stay. So if you can say, all right, the new ceiling for books is $5.99, yes, you'll lose some Marvel readers, you'll lose some DC readers, but the ones who stay will justify that dollar extra. So because they can't reach the volume of sales that they would like, they increase the price to get the amount of money they need each book to make anyway.
Yeah. So
And
no
that's become vicious.
change in the actual quality or content of what you're buying. It's just so that they can retain their profits.
But then you get into a vicious cycle of that, right? Because
Yeah.
now you have removed those people from the ecosystem. They are likely less willing to come back and interact. And so now you're forced to continue to raise the prices because, well, you etched those last people out. Now the base maybe is diminishing because, shit, it's getting a little expensive. Oh, raise the price again because we got to make up that difference. Ooh, that's kicking some people out. And then the further you go up that, the more and more niche these books become and the harder it is to sustain at volume. That sounds like a long-term plan for Cataclysm.
Yeah, it's especially discouraging for new readers, like especially younger readers who are just now getting into comics for the first time and discovering like, oh my God, these cost how much? Like imagine someone whose first book is like Absolute Batman. They go to their shop, they grab that first issue or whatever, and they're like, I'm hooked, I like this, I want to read more. And then come to realize, wait, if I want to read Absolute Wonder Woman and Superman and this, it's going to cost me $4.99 and $4.99. Oh, there's a variant cover really like that. Oh, that's $5.99. And then, oh wait, there's an event, but these characters in it. And oh wait, that's another $5.99. Yeah, it starts to just pile on.
And like I remember when I was a kid, not to to really dated myself there back in my day, but like I had a $20 bill and that would get me places, $20 doesn't get you even lunch at this point, especially in like the New York area.
Slop bowl.
If you're lucky, you get a slop bowl, but there's no room for an absolute Martian Manhunter issue at the same time, like
that used to be an Image Volume 1 for $10.
Yep.
And then my 3 DC and or Marvel pulls.
Yeah. And like David M. Doria here in the chat says, I live in a place where median income is $65K. Median rent is $1.3K a month. How many people here can drop $50 a week on paper, essentially? Yeah, and guess what? That paper is going to take up way too much room in your studio $1,300 a month apartment.
Couple things. Ted H at the beginning of the show, before the show even started, gifted 5 channel memberships.
I can read those out. I got those.
Yeah.
All right, so we have Rafniak, Zoc711, SJ Dan 69, nice, Johnny 2003, and the Big Lee Joker.
The Big Lee Joker. Nice.
Bigly. Is that like a Trump joke? Is that what that is?
And I got these 5 locked and loaded because when you give us a membership, we give it back.
Yo.
Here we go.
Bust it out, Marco.
Hey, yo. Chris looked around for that shit.
Where's that coming from?
Where's the load?
Got David M. Doria, MD Johnny, Foxtastic, Stankma, and C. Cole. 9.
We gotta take the one away from Stankball. What the hell is a Stankball?
I like that David Doria got one right after you read his comment.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
One of the other thing I wanted to mention A, like the video. There's over 160 of you here. Love that. But B, we're a 0 of 10 of our goal. If you guys want us to play the GOAT or WOTE game a little later, I'm feeling WOTY.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm feeling WOTY today. We got to get there. We got to get there. 0 out of 10. So hook it up if you want us to play. On price, I just bought Slay the Spire 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Spent $25. I have not been able to stop playing this motherfucker. The best comic. You read it, you read it. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the experience that you signed up to have. But I'm getting to the point where I'm feeling like the juice is not worth the squeeze. I personally have been in a place for a few weeks now, and there's, personal reasons for this, but I'm not enjoying my stack as much recently. Outside of the top end books, and for the most part, with some outliers, we read the top end books for Pals Pulls.
Yeah.
So where's all my money going?
Yeah.
Fucking monsters.
It's called Monsters. Sean, you asked that question. We know the answer to this. We have definitive proof.
But what I'm trying to illuminate is that I don't feel like I'm getting my money's worth right now.
Well, think about it. Like the Monsters example. How many issues of Monsters are there?
60 something.
Okay. What is it? $3.99 an issue?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh,
do that math.
Price.
Like all of the time. Like, so I think there is what's the word I'm looking for here? Ritualistic nature of buying comics on a Wednesday, right? And there's a ritualistic nature of like, you were buying Monsters at one point. Well, you got to keep going. You got to keep doing it. And I think people just like need to like just reevaluate things. Like I don't want to say don't buy comics. That's not what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm saying buy the ones you want and stop hate buying Spider-Man if you don't like it. If you don't, it sounds like I'm telling people not to buy comics. So I might start a boycott on this.
Evaluate.
Yeah, but like I think there is a reevaluation that people can do with comics, because here's the thing. I don't know the history of anything where the price went up and then it went back down. Maybe the Nintendo Switch or some shit like that, but it's once businesses can see that they can still sell it and make the same amount of money, that price is not going down, buddy. And your wages are probably not going up. So I think it's okay to do some evaluation on what you're doing.
Yeah. I literally just did a video about this, about the idea of what makes you stop buying a comic. Like, what is the personal criteria that you have to like enjoying a comic, and what do you actually find enjoyable about reading a comic? But then like, what is the thing that happens, or that breaking point where you're like, I don't want to purchase this anymore? And there were a lot of good like comments about this in and around, like on Twitter, and then on the comments about, some people suggested this idea, which I think is really, really smart. Like, if I have like a stack, like Sean's saying earlier, and this book keeps finding its way to the bottom of that stack, like I'm deprioritizing it, I don't really feel an enthusiasm about reading it, you get to this point of like, why am I buying this anymore? That happened to me recently with, unfortunately, Uncanny X-Men, for a couple reasons. I was getting lost in the plot, and I was just realizing like, it's this book, I keep not wanting to get to it because I'm like, okay, it's like a slog for me. And then something we actually haven't talked about yet that really became a problem with that title in particular, and with a lot of stuff at Marvel: double shipping. Like, I just realized, wait a second, I just read this like 2 weeks ago. Like, and then there was a week where they put out an Uncanny X-Men issue and the annual.
Yep.
And I keep coming back to my shop and I'm like, this book keeps coming out. I keep thinking it's just okay. Why am I buying? I literally went to my LCS was a week before, and I literally asked, like, yo, my man, pull out the sheet. We'll give you the pen and pull out the sheet. Crossed it out. I said, listen, Gail, I love you. I love Gail Simone. Can't do it anymore. But that's it. It just gets to a point where I'm like, I don't think the book is bad. It's not awful. I'm not hate reading it or whatever. I have to be very picky and judicious with my purchases with these books, because there are so many great comics, not just DC, Marvel, Image, everywhere.
Yep.
I have to literally look at a book and I put it down in front of me and I'm like, yo, impress me. Because that's honestly where I'm at right now with my reads.
There's a real top echelon of comics in terms of quality right now. across publishers. And like there was one where I had a similar issue. I was like, I haven't read Rogue since issue 2. Why do I have this other than I like Rogue? like what am I doing if I'm not even reading it? You know? And this is where digital gets a little tricky too, because you'll just get that shit and you don't even see it. You know, like it is out of sight, out of mind because it's just in an app.
Auto subscribe.
Yeah, auto subscribe is dangerous.
Yep.
So at least with the physical nature of it, I could see like, oh, there's Rogue again. I'm not reading that shit. Okay, I'm gonna tell my LCS I don't want to read it anymore. A little trickier on you gotta police yourself a bit more.
Atomic Hound with a $9.99, coupled with price, oversaturation is a root cause. Too many low value added titles. The countdown to PalsCon is on. Oh my God, yes.
Less than
Next week, Friday, we are out. We are going to HeroesCon. We're turning that shit into PalsCon. If you are going to be at HeroesCon, you need to fuck with us. You need to make sure that you find us because we're going to be very available. We're going to be very notable. We'll have our shirts on, our Comics Pals shirts. Come hang out with us. It's going to be a great time. And some of you are getting an Airbnb together. Chris, talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
What's up? What? I'm sorry. Wait, what?
You guys are getting an Airbnb together.
Oh, yeah. So we actually I think it's like 8 of us.
Damn, that's the real world.
You should have been there the night that we were on a voice call and we were like hunting Airbnbs together. Like, this doesn't have enough bathrooms. This doesn't have bedrooms. Like, who's gonna stay here? So we were looking at prices. It was like an episode of House Hunters, but for Airbnbs. It was crazy. But yeah, we actually got an Airbnb not that far from the convention center. A bunch of pals. We all pitched our money together, and it's like multiple rooms and bedrooms, like a ton of space for us to actually just come and hang out to the con. We literally have plans. Like Hayden's Hideout, shout out. My man's got maps with like markings and directions and all sorts of stuff. It looked like a serial killer's plotting something out there. It's crazy. Like, but we are so pumped for this, man, to actually get to do this together. Like, go some people haven't been to a con before. This is their first time in like years. To get to go as a group. We all love comics. We're all always here talking and like actually get to experience this together. It's just gonna be so much fun.
I'm excited to have some barbecue, guys.
Yes.
Some Carolina barbecue. Ooh.
And by the way, that's just a peek into how connected you can get to the community here on the Comics Pals. It's not just an audience. A lot of channels have larger audiences than we do. No channel has a more integrated community than we do. I don't believe that.
Day in, day out.
Yeah. Sugui Death dropping a bunch of super chats on us. Thank you so much, brother. Says for the amazing stuff that the Comics Pals do for us. Y'all better like, share, and subscribe. Dropped 5 on us, then dropped another 5, said I mean it. Another 5 said do it. Another 5 said do it. Thank you, brother. Really appreciate it.
Wait, one more.
Do it was the last one. Thank you.
And before that, Hayden's Hideout said, if I find whoever unsubbed, it's over for you. Get us back to 7K subs before PalCon. See you pals there.
That's the nature of YouTube for you.
Dude, yeah, we were at 7K. You guys probably saw that, some of you. We hit 7K. We had 3 people unsub. It happens. But technically, in my mind, we're a 7K channel. So fuck it. And Tuesday, we're going to do a 7K Q&A. 7K QA celebration, so come hang out with us for that.
7K Q&A. That sounds got a nice ring to it. Yeah.
That's cool.
I like alliteration and I like shit like that. So entertain me with a 5 spot. Here's some money to make a millionaire named Sean stop whining that they're broke like his idols Bezos and Musk. See you at HeroesCon, pals. What a threat that is.
Here's this thing. When entertain me is right. Sean does love Bezos and Musk. But we don't know who he is. Entertain me. So when he says see you at HeroesCon, he means he will be seeing us, but we won't know it's him.
You don't know. He's not going to be wearing a shirt saying, hi, I'm Entertain Me.
No,
He might roll up on you. Like, you might be standing in line for Nick Dragotta. You might just be standing right there, breathing down your neck. You wouldn't even know.
If somebody talks to me in the urinal, I'm going to assume it's Entertain Me.
Oh, God.
He's going to be like, like when it's like empty bathroom and the guy just stands next to you in the urinal. Like you had 6 urinals you could have picked.
Let me get this chat here. Well, before that, let me get this super chat from Dan. Dan Trudeau with the 5 spot said, I'm legitimately sad I won't be at HeroesCon. Looking forward to the day I can see some of my friends here in the real world.
Hey, IRL, let's go.
You could do a Dan bot. I could put you on a Zoom call, put you on the iPad, and just roll you around if you want.
That was our plan for Kale, but
Yeah.
never ended up needing it. Here's a comment from Destro who says, you people complain about comic price, but drop $5 on chat shoutouts. You love comics, but you bitch about how much they cost. Creators have to live too.
He did a You People promo?
Did a You People promo.
I mean, okay, I don't know the tone in which this is being said,
Come on.
but it is kind of funny. Well, that's the thing. People have incomes that they can use for what they deem appropriate for themselves. It's not a monolith. You know, everyone's wallet is not a monolith.
Yeah, I don't think you have the right to say what people can complain or not complain about. Like, yeah, $5 for a comic is a lot. And if someone finds more value in sending us a chat shout out than they do the $5 comic that they purchased, that's their prerogative. And that speaks to the state of comics for that individual person. I think comics are in a beautiful spot, but there are things to complain about. And yeah, creators have to eat, but guess what, dude? I buy, like, you're barking up the wrong tree. The people who watch this show are not buying 1, 2, 3 comics a week. These are people who are very activated, who are buying a lot of comics a week, and are people who are shit, and I count myself among them, people who are keeping this fucking industry going.
Yeah. Afloat on their backs.
Yeah.
Wednesday Warriors.
There's no mysterious benefactor coming into comics and helping it out. The comic book industry is, as a whole, isn't on the stock market. There's no angel investors. So you tell me who's supporting and making this comic book industry function. It's the readers.
And the retailers.
It's the readership and the retailers.
Yeah.
Go to the movie industry. Go to the movie industry. Who keeps that afloat?
Well, they have actual marketing.
Yeah, but they have investing.
Yeah. Production.
Yeah, you're barking up the wrong tree with that argument.
And like, here's the thing: the creators need to get paid too. Yes, but from what I hear, it's not like the increased price is going to those creators.
Yeah, it's not getting distributed, like redistributed in the way that we
In fact,
want it to be.
I would say they're probably paying creators less because they have a global market of competition between creatives that they can choose from. And then that, the American dollar goes further in Italy or something like that, so they're playing with the money and not in the benefit of the creator. Sure, there are outliers. There are the Hickmans out there who get paid a lot more, but because, there are outliers in any business.
Hero says, bro, that's assuming that most of the money you spend on comics goes to the creators, when in fact it doesn't. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And Neon Knight with an excellent point. The readers are shareholders. We have equity in this surviving. Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say comic books is its own stock market, really.
Yep. And there are very few other spaces that are like that. And Dan says, you guys are creators too. I consider money I send you as supporting the industry as well. Thank you so much. Those are all excellent points. And Destro, I think that, you're entitled to feel how you feel, but I really think that what you're doing is undervaluing what we do and overvaluing the relationship between our dollar and creators. Like, if you want to make that point, talk to me about indie comics. Don't make that point talking about Big Two comics, because you're flat out wrong. Like, in the Big Two space, you are wrong. That's objective. Beyond that point, with the way that FOC works, you're doubly wrong.
Yeah, I think you have an argument for indie stuff for sure, but also I would say thanks for the super chats that are coming in. So Destro, you can keep saying this if you want. It seems to have.
Yeah, exactly. Like our audience is showing you live that you're wrong. Like, people value what they value. I don't judge your purchases. It's a weird take.
You don't want to know my purchases.
Pete Collins dropping 19.99 on us. Thank you
Holy
so
cow, Pete.
much, brother. I get far more entertainment from the pals than I do keeping up with my X-Men collection. So this is money well spent. That's really nice of you to say.
And he likes X-Men too. He's made, you know, those homage trading card things before. So
Cosmic November with the 5 spot. I am a proud Patreon member. The Comic Pals community is like a streaming service and an awesome book club. Best way to support what you love is cash. It's a beautiful statement.
that is calling back
Thank
to, or calling forward to something we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Typical Spider dropping 9.99 says, "Hey pals, not that I don't got it like that." But I had to cut down on pulls. I only pick up Superman. It's just so much cheaper to pay for the ultimate plan of DC Universe and read books a month later. That's valid.
That's a great point.
Yeah,
an
that's
excellent
that's-
point.
I didn't even factor that in. Like, I can get more bang for my buck in comics.
It's a
Yes.
literal subscription service. It's
Yeah.
Netflix for comics, essentially.
That also, the longer it's been around, the gap between release and on the subscription has been shorter and shorter.
But also
True.
the value of it, because they're literally adding titles every single week. The library of options on
Yep.
Marvel Unlimited and DC Infinite is literally growing with every single passing week. You're getting more for more bang for your buck as
Yeah.
it literally continues.
And sometimes they'll surprise drop things that people wanted to support monetarily for free.
Oh my god, yeah. Dude, I was reading that. I was reading last night, and I saw that. I was like,
What, you finally just read the Dakota incident last night?
no, dude,
Oh, okay.
the Pride book.
Oh, well, the Pride book was
They
on there?
Released it. Yeah,
on
we
there.
released it. Yeah.
Fucker.
That's what I said. I was like,
Damn it.
oh, sorry. I love supporting comics.
Yeah, but you know, I also like burritos.
And then before that, Ted H got us over the line with $10. Said hydrate time.
Thank you, Ted.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. We put the call out and you guys answered it very quickly. You guys are amazing. So there are other tendrils of this conversation that we've got to get to, but I do want to answer Victor Giovanni's question real quick. What do you think the ratio is of readers to collectors? How many people just read and aren't calculating the future value of their collections?
I mean, you've always said, Sean, you're a reader, not a collector, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But like, I've seen your collection. And I know I've seen the tip of the iceberg, really.
Yeah.
Quite literally, it's shaped like that, guys. But that's a hard one to do because there are people out there like Marco who destroy their comics or they just throw them in the hallway. And there's probably people out there like Chris, who I assume you have long boxes, right?
I don't know if you could see them. Like there's
Yeah.
there's a whole line that running the back of this room. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have a whole physical collection that is taking up my parents' storage unit that they keep reminding me about. So I think like even on the show right here, we have a varying degree of comic book fans. And I don't know if there's any way to really ratio that properly.
But to the point, right? Of the long boxes that you guys have, you're not considering that long term value in the sense of I'm waiting for these things to get to a price at which
No.
I can sell them and make a profit, right?
It's not capital. No. No.
No.
For me, it was my dad had comics and then I was able to enjoy his collection.
You muted yourself, Tyler. Your cat muted you.
This dude, yeah, so like it was cool that I got to read my dad's collections, like having that like almost like an heirloom, really. And I'm not saying like I'm gonna have a kid or anything like that. Like I already have this one who wants to meet the mic and he can't read for shit. But just knowing that like somebody else can enjoy my collection down the line, whether or not I even sell it or not, is irrelevant to me. Like I don't value my collection monetarily.
Yeah.
Well, I do in terms of my insurance, my renter's insurance that I have to put a value on.
That. It's less for me. Like I'm in the same boat like with Sean. Like I never say to people like I collect comics. I read comics, right? It's just it goes hand in hand. Like I physically buy comics, so I end up developing a collection of them. And for me right now, like there's always the faint thought in the very, very back of my mind, especially when I get books signed, that it's like, hey, this has additional value. Like if a doom scenario happens and I'm out of work or whatever, like I have things that I can sell, but it's very, very faint in my mind. Like I collect these comics and hold them for a sentimental value if I end up passing them down to someone or whatever the case may be. But it's also like I can go 10 years later and go back and look at these things and have fond memories. Like I was doing that when I cleaned out these boxes behind me. I was pulling out stuff from like 2011, 2012 that I just like these memories start flooding back, and I was like making phone calls and reaching out to people that I was like, man, you remember when we used to read this, blah blah blah, and that created like a really touching moment for me personally. So yeah, that's like the main reason why I do get comics physically, is just to have them, to have these pieces, and then you start being able to put things on walls and all that. Yeah, I mean the part of it with the collecting, the collection aspect of it, of being able to sell these down the road is there, but it's not for me the foremost reason why I do it.
Not primary.
I love comics and I love reading them, and I do not want to sell them. I'm not businessman selling comics. I just don't want to be that. I feel like, it taints it. And these are mine. I don't want to get rid of them. They're mine. I like
put a physical effort into
Fucking-
going and getting it. You want to you don't want to turn the transaction into a transaction. Like that's not why you did it.
Get Sean's Orange Lantern ring right now.
Well, shit, when you own something and they mean something to me, it's not even just the ownership, it's the effort it took to get them. It's the time I spent reading them. It's my care for those characters. There's a lot of factors to it. But yeah, so let's jump into another aspect of this. That's good, Cole. Let's jump into another aspect of this that is important and was brought up by the Do Nothing boycott, which is final order cutoff.
Wait, hold on. I have a sound for that, I think.
So final order cutoff, or FOC, if you will,
I will.
basically is the way that comic shops and comic shops and publishers figure out how many orders a book has, therefore how many books the publisher needs to print. So if all the comic book stores in North America order 200,000 copies of Superman, which is probably not going to happen, but let's say that happened, that number is the accumulation of all pre-orders plus probably somewhere in the neighborhood, Marco, of like what, 10 to 20% extra that they produce.
Yeah, just to be safe,
Yeah. So that's all there is, right? That's all there is in the world. And you going to your LCS after the day of final order cutoff, it doesn't matter what day that is. It could be the day the comic comes out. It could be the day after FOC. You going in and talking about that book after that does nothing.
Yeah.
It's already been purchased by the retailer. The retailer is the store you go to. They bought it already to sell it to you. The only way that you can affect that book after FOC is if it sells so well that your retailer is like, oh shit, this is hot. We need to reach out to the printer or reach out to the publisher and say, can we get more Superman? That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only power you have after FOC.
You can
All or
affect a
nothing.
second printing, but
Right.
that's about it. Yeah.
But it's wild because it's literally whatever the minimum is, or you have to ensure that it runs out.
And you would assume that FOC has a pretty standard, it's 3 months before. No. It's like different per book, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's not communicated clearly.
It's not at all.
If you're a new reader, that's a whole angle to it that you have no understanding for. You don't even plan your books ahead in that way because maybe you don't even have a pull list like that, right? And so, and to the number of people that don't even have the pull list, right? There is a education piece that has to happen there, and that very much is on part of, to some degree, the publishers, but I think it unfortunately lands a lot on the retailer to be like, make sure if you want this is coming out, you have to make sure, because the companies aren't marketing it unless you're already reading the books. If you want to pick up a next issue of whatever, you need to let me know literally 3 months in advance or more.
My LCS actually put out a newsletter explaining FOC. And even like at the shop, I heard him like being, oh, and there's a thing called final order cutoff. If I can explain that to you if you'd like. And he did it to me, and I'm like, I know this. He's like, oh yeah, sorry, I'm just used to saying this now. So like, but that's one shop that is realizing that maybe they need to let people know about this beforehand.
A proactive shop.
Yeah, which are not all shops.
Yeah.
It's not like they, and the thing is so frustrating because it's not like they don't advertise this information. Because I picked up when I went to my shop this past week, I picked up the Dynamite Dispatches and like the DC Connect books that they put out, this is basically like the physical solicitations that we get online, but they actually print them out and give them to you. That's typically at the checkout line. Like they'll have a stack of these you can get. It's for free, and it literally does what we're saying, which is it provides you with all the variant covers for a book and when it's coming out and what the FOC is, who's the creative team, and all of that. And this is what we're saying. Like, we're saying people need to know these things, and they do. I mean, I want to give them some grace. These companies do put this information out there. It's just like, it's not thrown into your face with like neon lights and signs pointing like, this is what you need to do to get this book in your hands. But it's just people. I don't know how. I guess that would be my question to you guys. Like, how else could they possibly advertise this better?
And here's the thing, though. They're not, like, the publishers don't care if they're advertising to us.
I mean,
they're advertising
for the shop,
to the shops. Yeah. So all the shops need to have their own solutions to this. Like my LCS, the guy who rang me up, he told me about DC Connect. He's like, oh, so this came out this week here. You want to grab one of those? They're free. And I think that's a good shop that does that. There's not a lot of, sometimes there's just not good shops. Like, Sean, you're at the big box store of comic shops, right? Are they putting a disconnect in your bag? Are they giving you that?
No, but they're very prominently placed as free, so I could grab it if I wanted to, but I don't feel like I need it. I hope people grab them, but they should put them in every bag.
Mm-hmm.
Though on this subject, DC was taken to task for their lack of attention to FOC, and it's not their fault only. But I do have a point to make about DC in particular. DC puts preview pages for books that they want you to go buy in the back of their comics. They love to do it. They do it all the time. And some of us have praised them for that. But here's the problem. By the time they've put that in there, it is way too late for FOC. It's way too late for you to influence the destiny of that comic book. So essentially, it's worthless. And when you think about it from that perspective, I almost don't understand why those preview pages are there at all. Because they can't help the book's destiny. There are no publicly released sales data points, so it doesn't actually matter for clout. How and you're adding paper for a book that me buying or not buying doesn't ultimately really matter anyway. So I'm now questioning, what is the point of those preview pages? I would much rather if those preview pages at the back said, and by the way, if you want this book, it's on Fox such and such a date and such a time, go pick it up. But here's the problem. Fox is so fucking early that there is nothing to show before it comes up in the majority of cases.
It's true. Yeah. FOC is essentially a trust me, bro.
Yeah.
Books have been put on FOC and then resolicited.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or delayed or whatever.
Delayed.
To Sean's point, this week, I was reading my DC books this week, and which I'm allowed to now, and there were preview pages for Superman Father of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
That book came out last week. Like,
okay,
there's very little chance of that book actually being available for me to get at my shop, because by the time I'm reading these preview pages, like, oh, this book looks hot, let me go get it. It's probably sold out, or they don't have any copies on the shelf. Like, why are we putting preview pages for a book that's already out or has been out for a week?
I was wondering the same thing. I'm like, isn't this the page Superboy Prime runs through? Like,
yes.
That's a good point. I mean, I'll be honest. Sometimes those previews have reminded me of books that I was going to check out the #1 of that I didn't pre-order, and then I can go and oh yeah, I'm kind of excited for this, and I'll pick it up. But that doesn't. I guess it's helping the shop if the shop has copies. But
Right.
is there a benefit to use those pages too? I don't know. Not have those pages and lower the price of the book, or have those pages with actual ads that are not in-house ads to maybe justify a price drop if they're getting revenue somewhere else.
On the actual ad piece as opposed to internal ads, I don't think the value's there. It's such a niche audience in a very specific area that unless it's something that falls into that, as a marketer, I don't know that I'm quite particularly interested in doing so. But I think the preview pages serve a different purpose than addressing the final cutoff. It is very much about can we get a run on this title because this many people have already ordered. Maybe there's on the DC end or the Marvel end, on the business end, there is a set number that they know has been ordered, and to them maybe that feels like kind of a lot. Looks like we needed to sell out. Maybe they do a push, or on their end it's just a big book that pertains to something a bit larger, like the Barbara Gordon. That connects to a tier 1 title. And so we need to make sure we push that because those things are related. We want to kind of funnel people that way. And so if there is something at the start or at the end that says, please make sure issue 9, and I know it's already been addressed that maybe it comes late, but please make sure issue 9, you go and you talk to your LCS so that you can put it in and reserve that copy if it is that you go and reserve copies in the first place. I think you need to address a functional way, or the industry needs to address a functional way to put in pre-orders with the shop, and that's through a POS system or encouraging more pull lists.
Yeah. And there's a comment here from Jubril saying, I don't think fuck matters. After I read a book, I'll come back and add it to my pull list. Okay. It doesn't matter to you, but it does matter to the business, is the thing. Like, think about Imperial Guardians. That was a book that Marvel was publishing that was slated as an ongoing. Before issue 1 even came out, they dropped it down to a mini for 5 issues, and they delayed it to, I guess, just they probably had to retool it. Because at least the stated thing was that the sales weren't there, right? I think it was Black Panther Intergalactic as well. Yeah. That the pre-order sales weren't there before we can even read the book. That
it was Jed's book.
And Nova too. Yeah.
Yeah, Nova.
Yeah. So it was a lot of like, hey, we can't justify the cost, the continuation of this book, regardless of whether you read it or the quality of it, just based on people pre-ordering it.
Tyler, can you run that? Yeah. That's what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
We're talking about it right now, and I think that, it is important to understand how it works, but I do agree with the idea that the big two should care. They're just not incentivized to. And that's where I get into things that I don't actually know are solved. Because FOC, I don't necessarily understand how comics can work without returnability, but with FOC. I don't see how that works. You can't have it that way. If you're not going to have returnability, you have to have final order cutoff, because you're selling to the retailers. But if you don't have returnability, then you're actually selling to audiences. The retailer is just the boat that gets you to the actual purchaser of comics. But until the purchaser of comics becomes us and not the retailer, this problem will always exist, because the retailer doesn't have the power to go, 50 copies, or 50, that's insane. 5 copies of Superman didn't sell, let's send them back to DC. That would be DC's failure and their loss, and now they have to make sure that Superman is as high quality as it can possibly be. Otherwise, they're going to eat that. They don't eat jack shit, because there is no returnability for Marvel or DC. Certain publishers do, but most don't.
They are eating something, and that's buttery lobster and steak, because these comics cost so much fucking money.
Well, the goal there, right, is to redistribute the risk. The risk needs to fall on, or at least the way that the business has been set up, the risk needs to fall on the shop, not on the publisher. And that was the method to eliminate that level of risk. Because before, oh, I'm only going to sell this many because I think this many will, but I expect some level of returnability. There's a debit and credit there, as opposed to the shop where it's just like, sorry.
I mean, it's essentially a pre-order, right? You're pre-ordering these comics. And we can compare it to pre-orders in other industries, like movie theaters. There's like Supergirl tickets just went on sale last week. There are Odyssey tickets that I'd even try for. I don't know. You any luck with that, Sean?
Yeah.
You got it?
Got it?
For Friday night, yeah.
Ooh,
IMAX?
nice.
Yes.
Hell
10
yeah.
p.m. We'll see how crazy I am.
Oh God. But yeah, but like that is I just broke something on my desk. There is a pre-order thing there just because there's a wanting to see it before things. I think the pre-order initiatives that video games have is something different. Like there's incentive to pre-order things that, with, digital exclusives, new skin you could have in this. You get, if you're Wolverine, you get 1+1 point to your game,
3 days early access to the game or something.
Yeah, or early access. So there's incentive to pre-order there in other industries. What's the incentive to pre-order a comic other than making sure you have it?
I don't
Which
even think
you can
that-
then go online on digital and get it if you don't get it. There are times when I have not pre-ordered a book. I wanted to pick it up. It's not in the shop because I didn't pre-order it and they didn't order enough copies. And I just wound up buying it digitally.
But I don't think that there is an actual even infrastructure for it, right?
No.
Like unless you have a pull list, then remember back in the day, Diamond,
Who?
rest in peace, was gonna do what was it, the pull list or whatever?
Yes.
And they
Yeah.
were like,
Yeah.
they were like, yo, we can search on this.
We have the
thing.
technology. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But that was an attempt to get to a point where Diamond Comics, the sole distributor, will be able to track based on your LCS. There has been no replacement or attempt at a replacement to be able to do that because the premise is POS, not direct to consumer. And so if there is a methodology by which you can do direct to consumer, I can sign up for this thing. It has my local shop. I can pre-order and you get encouraged to do those things. That is a potential solution, but the infrastructure does not exist for that. There, you can barely align more than 15 different POS systems in a state.
Well, we have a good comic book reader here in the chat with Comics Are Dope. Hey, BJ, who says, my shop uses Comic Hub. Every Wednesday, they load up comics for FOC that weekend. My Thursday routine includes browsing those titles, ordering. If I had to actually call the shop, I likely wouldn't do it. So there are some tools to do that. But I think, does Comic Hub have every book that comes out? Because it's going to be different distributors at the same time.
But is Comic Hub even like patron facing? I thought that was a business thing.
Isn't Comic Hub B2B?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess BJ's shop gives him access to it in some way. No, there's a custom. So if you go on their website, there's customer login, publisher login, retailer login, and supplier login. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, there's an app too.
Comic Hub,
Okay.
let us know.
Actually, let me see what the app looks like.
I am wildly jealous when I hear things like this. I know people who say like their shop has if they're going to like a big giant chain or whatever, that they have the ability to go online and set up their pull list or remove things or whatever. And I'm just like, how? Like I have to physically go to my shop, talk to my guy Jared, shout out Jared, and be like, hey, give me my sheet. And in my sheet is like a piece of paper with all of the books written down that I'm getting. And if I want to remove something, I have to physically, like I mentioned earlier, take a pen and cross out the book or write on the sheet if I want to like pull something or take something off my pull list. Like if you start talking about apps, like brother, that is foreign science to my shop, man.
My boy Billy got the folder out. He's like, wait, which week is it?
It's literally on a clipboard.
No.
Dude, because a lot of shops have been doing it a certain way, and that's just what works for them. They don't evolve either.
Coltrane says Comic Hub is the piece of shit system, and you can browse online as a consumer. No, he really said point of sale. It's just all these things are pieces of shit. Shub Patel actually has a good idea, I think.
Okay.
I've never seen this idea. Here's a new reason to do FOC. Every book that you FOC has a lottery associated with it. And if you win the lottery, you get a poster or novelty item associated with the book with your copy.
Huh.
I like that.
My shop does something similar, actually. If you have a pull list, they do like a question every week where it's like, oh, who wins in a fight, Two-Face or Penguin, you know? And then for pull list subscribers to let you vote on it, and then they give you like a ticket, like a raffle ticket almost. And then it's like for merch, but for like LCS merch for the LCS, like a tote bag or a shirt or something like that. So
Until the publishers feel and it matters to them, your patronage, this is never going to change.
Yeah.
And it's never going to change because they don't feel your patronage. The relationship that exists in comics is between publisher and retailer and you. We are separated from the publisher. That's how it is. And I don't think that's going to change until returnability comes back. And returnability will never come back because Marvel and DC will not allow it.
Is there a business case for a unified system like that so that we're more direct to consumer and it feeds up as opposed to feeding down?
LCSs won't let it happen. Direct to the consumer without the LCS, is that what you're saying?
No. I'm saying, like, is there a case where it makes sense for the business, for the publisher to be able to invest in the system that allows them to have more accuracy for what they need to order and provide shops, what shops are going to be selling? Like, there are attempts at this with, like, a Managed Comics, a Comic Hub, but it feels like an investment is required to make all of that combined happen. And there hasn't been an interest, but I think there hasn't been an actual way to, or somebody to facilitate all of those things happening across the board. Like, it feels like we need, for what it's worth, and unfortunately it's no longer exists, like the Diamond Comic monopoly of a system across the board.
Would help.
Who'd have thought I'd be advocating for monopolies?
Dude, I don't.
Everyone.
Yeah, actually, I don't know this for a fact, but I wonder. I'm purely speculating, but I wonder if there was some embarrassment on DC's part when Immortal Hulk was beating them, and we could see that. Like, we could see the numbers.
Didio was around that time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that seems like a guy that would take that personally. And I took that shit personally.
When Immortal Hulk was beating Batman, DC reacted, and I have to imagine that on some level that could have been related to the fact that we knew that was happening, because that's a bad look. And on top of that, when people see something that other people think is bad, they shy away from it too. So the reporting on Batman doing, unfortunately, not so great compared to Hulk, and then us being able to see that in real time may have made other people go, why am I buying this book? Other people are jumping ship. I should too. There is an element of being kept honest by all of us being able to see the sales.
Yeah. Which, as a company, they don't want people to see that. They don't want honesty.
But
yeah,
it's such a damn. They don't want it because I think all those points are all valid, but the transparency would be so beneficial to the longevity of the industry that they're shooting themselves in the foot.
The industry doesn't matter to them. It's their company that matters.
But they're part of that ecosystem.
But only until the next quarter. That's like making sure those numbers go up for the next quarter is all that matters. Number go up, not my competitor's ship is also rising. They don't give a shit about that. The creatives might. The people on the lower end of the spectrum might. But the companies don't want that transparency. Name a company that is cool with transparency.
Anybody trying to let you see their books.
Yeah.
Probably she traded, but
I think that what would have to happen, Marco, is a coming to Jesus conversation where the heads of these companies sort of come together and realize, okay, we all have to do it or no one's going to do it.
Yeah. Well, Second Coming is published by Ahoy, so.
You're right.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's a good idea, but.
Good book, actually. Yeah. Mark Russell, right?
Yeah.
I do want to go through a couple more elements of this that we haven't jumped into yet, but before I do that, earlier we talked about who sponsors what and how comic book fans are the people who are really the shareholders of the comic book industry. Well, I'm here to tell you that you are the shareholders of us. You, the listener, are the people who make this show possible every single week, and you're the reason why we're able to do this. So I want to take an opportunity to shout you out real quick. We're going to talk a lot more about the main subject. We're also going to talk about that do nothing boycott and how it's over now shortly. But before we do that, special shout out to our pals versus legends, the Hound of Justice, Atomic Hound, Starcross, Catherine Stars, the Spear of Judgment, Jace Jumble, Safe Haven, Hayden's Hideout, the Red Spiral, Spiral Storm, Jesse and the Juggernaut, Kyle the Zenith Flare, Panda v Panda, Ted Wong, Adam Solar Smith, Sam the Last Young Renegade, Blur Jekyll Jose, Entertain Me, Peter Living Lightning Electrics, Shalom Paladin Warburg, Jamzilla the Party Animal, Cosm the Andric, Chris the Cure Coleman, Brian Acosta. Thank you all so much. And thank you to Palsverse members, Brian Demolish Pozo, Kefis the Incorruptible, Momentum Mike Elliott, Dan the Truth Trudeau, Marley Manastorm, Slow Flow Dameron, Christian Uncaged, The Spear of Justice, Izzy's Issues, Robert Runback Casherback, Pete the Dreamweaver Collins, James Just Jamming Jones, Paul Powell Smith, Neon Knight the Cosmic Avenger, BJ Kicks of Comics Are Dope, The Grand Alchemist, Chop Hard Alchemist, and John Barrier B. If you didn't hear your name and you're supposed to, you will a little bit later on. Stick around. Whew. Can we spin the wheel real quick?
You got it. You got it, boss.
Wheel.
Oh no! Avoid the Noid. Avoid the Noid. We did not avoid the Noid. The Noid gets to speak for 60 seconds.
Oh,
I got something.
Marco, do you even know what avoid the Noid is?
It's a cartoon thing, right? Like a promo marketing thing.
Oh yeah. Okay, you got it. All right, go ahead.
Ding ding.
Actually, Sean, what should he?
he has a subject he wants to do. You ready?
Yeah.
Go.
Yo, I found out yesterday the Knicks won only because they were throwing fireworks. Somebody was yelling out the window, "We fucking did it! Let's go Knicks in 4!" I'm like, damn, what the hell just happened? That's the only reason I went to the Discord. I was in my little reading nook, reading Great Gotham Central, and people start throwing out fireworks. Things are going crazy. I don't follow sports, guys. I don't, at least basketball. So I'm excited for y'all. I know the Discord pops off. I know people in real life pop off. I was getting bullied at work because they're like, Marco, didn't you know that the Knicks won? I was like, ooh, the Nets?
Oh,
sorry.
Wow.
Oh, you Marco.
Wow.
Marco.
You're gonna get tarred and feathered.
Oh.
Yo, you know who started getting the fucking New Yorkers were flaming Elmo for his tweet the other day. Elmo said, Elmo tweeted, I hope both teams have fun. And New Yorkers were like, you fucking live here, you piece of shit. How do you fucking both sides this argument, Elmo? Fuck you.
That was
Even like
diabolical.
AOC retweeted saying, yo, this is Rocco energy. Like, it's bad out there, but it's great as well. There's that one dude on like one of those like side talk interviews who said, my mayor is Muslim, my bagels are Jewish, my Christian Dior, my Nixon 4.
My Christian Dior. Oh my God. Okay. Thank you for the minute, Marco. Appreciate that. We'll spin the wheel a couple more times here in a few moments. New reader onboarding.
What are those? What do you mean new reader? What's that?
It's a good question. We have talked about the mythical new reader for a very long time. And I have been on the record saying that I don't believe in the new reader. But the absolute universe has proven me wrong. And the absolute universe has absolutely made new readers. But putting that to the side, we can give DC all their flowers, they deserve them. But I want to talk about the industry. I don't think that the industry has solved its problem of new readers.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. There's a few ways to, I think, tackle that. It is entry point into the furthering of the publisher that they make, landfall. And then it is the participation into the indie space, and then the participation into the distinguished competition, because I think those are all separate vehicles. People can kind of find their way in different ways, and so I think ultimately you're right that their singular touch point is Absolute, which consists of 5 to 7 titles, and that becomes their main purchasing habit. But that has become that is technically a micro line, and so that means that it is a subset of a larger system. It is an arm of an arm, and because of that, I think what DC is doing currently is building the foundation, and finally when we get the Absolute crisis or whatnot, that is their attempt at merging the universe. I think there is a long-term plan in play, but currently those people don't necessarily convert all the way through. We still have the same sort of group, the same cohorts that are reading the same, Batman, Spider-Man, etc. Not necessarily making the absolute translation. Those people haven't yet found their footing, because I don't think there's been an on-ramp for it. It's such a different universe in all those aspects that there isn't interest beyond what is familiar of where they've made that landfall.
It's funny. I feel like I've just been seeing online a lot more new readers too. Not even just knowing Absolute's doing well. I think there is a big influx within the last year alone of, probably because of Absolute, and I think a lot of these people have said it, of TikTokers, talking about their hauls, talking about their books. We don't get to the comic book TikTok, but there's some takes on there. But even Twitter accounts, there's a lot of people talking about comics, and when they talk about it, it's like, oh, I've only been reading this for 6 months, but they're really into it, and I think it's funny because a lot of it is started with Absolute, then I just started picking up books, or I started with this and then I tried reading Spider-Man from the beginning, which I don't necessarily recommend, but so I'm seeing a lot of people trying to get into it and not really knowing where to get into it from. So I think the audience is definitely there, which is weird because the dollar doesn't go as far anymore. And it feels weird to see this influx of fans coming into this medium when it's the most expensive it's been. But I think Compact definitely helps. I think Compact's been a big deal in getting people into comics.
Yeah, the entry point part of this is the biggest issue because the companies themselves, they put out a lot, which is kind of part of the problem, but there isn't any, at least to my knowledge, these definitive, Marvel saying, hey, you want to read Iron Man, or you're interested in Iron Man, you see these movies, we're putting out this official thing. We'll literally call it definitive Iron Man. That is a recap or summation of the character, what books to read, where you can get those books, whatever you might call it. Even think about DC right now, Supergirl is coming out, right? That's a character that's had 50, 60, 70, how many years it's been a publication history. Someone who's going to see that movie for the first time and is going to suddenly fall in love with that character and wants to read more on that character. Obviously, we all know, being in the space, that they have been putting out Woman of Tomorrow editions out the wazoo. And there are, there is a current Supergirl run and there are DC Finest for the character. But how do you get to that person over here who may find their way into a comic book shop for the very first time? And you have to be able to, especially for the LCS, it's sell them on this character and where do they start? Because, to your point about the comic talk, there's just all these debates about beginner, expert, advanced. Where is the point? Because there's just no official stamp of this is the thing. I almost wish that, to that definitive point, that for example, I guess for DC, they actually put out new history. You remember the new history of the DC universe thing? Almost a new history book for every major character. That's if you want to read Batman, start here. This will give you a good summation of the character, their history, and also references to the things that you can go read with QR codes, whatever you want to do. But an actual book, physical thing you can pick up that gives you a starting place for everything in character and concept that you want to know. Because if not, you're just hoping and praying that when someone goes into a shop, someone's gonna lead them into the temple and give them the actual right path for them. But that's such a difficult thing because there's just, to that point, like so many possibilities, like especially like I said with Batman, like where could you possibly begin with that character? Do you read Absolute? Do you read New 52? Do you go back to the Bronze Age? You know, whatever.
Yeah, especially like year one is not the first year that Batman was written, you know?
No.
So it's like, is it in canon the first thing? Yes, but not chronologically in publication. So like, this is where it gets confusing. I think DC at least has the benefit of, I think there's a lot more one and done arcs or runs that you can read in a trade
A lot of standalone reads. Yeah.
A lot of standalone reads. And I think that's what actually benefits the compact line for them. Which I think it makes things easier there. I think Marvel has a bigger problem with it that they're not addressing at all.
I will say though, for the compacts, I like them. They are great for that new reader accessibility. I don't know that they've been making great choices though, by and large, for these characters in terms of entry points. Like I don't think recommending someone like, you know, Earth 1 Wonder Woman or New 52 Wonder Woman instead of like Rucka or Simona Perez have been the best choices. I mean, you can flip over to Marvel, like their first Spider-Man compact is going to be Spider-Man, which is an insane concept. Like that's a book that relies on the history of the character to be able to like work.
Yeah.
Like you have to have read Spider-Man and Miles and these characters to actually get the emotional through line of that book. So why is that the first Spider-Man compact being, especially I think that's coming out around the time of Brand New Day.
Awesome.
Hello.
Great stuff. Yeah. And I think it's all like, we're talking new readers. That means that they are not privy to comics, but they are privy to stuff like TV, where if you're going to get into Sopranos like I am, you're starting at episode 1. There is a clear understanding of how you get into it. And even if it's a manga, a lot of that time you can start with volume 1. That's a clear entry point. And I think that does not compute getting into comics for a lot of people. For me, it's always been like, just pick up a comic and just run with it. But I recognize now that that is just not how people think, or not how a majority of people think. And knowing where, and then having to do the homework of like finding, you know, like one of like Crisis's, you know, guides on how to do it is not that we're in the know for that on reading order and stuff like that. So yeah, it's tricky, and I think they need to figure that out.
Graphic Novel Guide says, you guys are explaining the importance of creators like you. So what he's saying, or what they're saying, is that the world has changed. And that whenever people find something new that they like, they're probably going to go to the internet to learn what they need to know. So if someone picks up Absolute Batman and they're like, oh shit, this is crazy, what do I read next? What are they most likely to do? Go back to their LCS and ask. Do nothing. Go to Wikipedia or go to YouTube. You know, go to TikTok. Go to Twitter. I think they're more likely to do one of those internet things than go to the LCS. And one of the places that they could land is here with us. And or maybe, you know, Omar, or maybe BJ, or even Rob, you know, over at Comics
Liefeld?
Like, no, don't end up with Rob Liefeld. But like, that is a great chip that the industry has that it doesn't use. And that frustrates me, not because I'm looking for clout, but because I think that we should all of our channels should be more utilized to help solve this problem. Give us copy. Give us copy to read. Give us copy to read. Send your creators over here.
That's where it's symbiotic, you know. That's where like the smaller publishers will do that. They'll reach out. You know, Ignition was great at this actually, reaching out, be like, hey, we have creators that are available to talk. Like, there's no exchange of money involved, really. It's understanding that, you know, like, we're giving you a creator that will draw people to your channel, but also draw people to our books. So there's a symbiotic relationship there. Big Two don't give a shit about that, you know. We're doing it for free every Thursday for them. They don't got to do anything. You know, so unfortunately I just don't see a benefit for that. Global Comics actually does it good too. They have like a feed of content creators
Yeah,
that
we're on it.
we're on. You know, you can see our YouTube
set that up.
videos. Every time we put a new one out, it goes on their feed on the app and it links you right to YouTube. And like they're really open. Like if you're even small creators, you can reach out to them, put yourself on there, you know. So that's cool for Global Comics, but like I just don't see it happening with Marvel or DC, unfortunately. They have like DC Fantastic Frankie does their podcast, right? And she's great. She's fucking hilarious. But that's their own. They're controlling their own narrative. They're controlling their own content. Because once you get to that big of a company, that's all you really want to do is just work in your own silo.
Yeah, I definitely think that they could use us better, but if they're not going to do that, then at the very least, help new readers out. DC with the compacts has done a great job. Marvel has to step it up. But as a whole, I think this industry has to do more for new readers. This is the time to have those answers too, because this is when they're coming. So as an entire industry, there have to be more ways to help them.
Like as much as like they don't really read the comics, but imagine, you know, fucking Chip Zdarsky's Avengers we're talking about, right? Is coming out. What if he was on the Escape Pod podcast on TikTok? You know? A lot of people watch that shit. That could draw people to an Avengers book they've never drawn to before. And then you have your, and I don't mean this in a pejorative sense, but you have your hucksters that are going on that show. Your Liefelds and McFarlane was just on there. Who are like, these are classic guys who know how to market themselves, that are doing a show they can find beneficial, even though the show itself has little to nothing to do with the actual comics part of things. But people watch. And I bet you people who have never heard of Todd McFarlane now do know who Todd McFarlane is now.
Yeah. I mean, that might be a generational shift with creators too. Like you guys talked to Stephanie Phillips, right? She is someone who's on the forefront of understanding the importance of digital marketing and the podcast space and the influencer space, but is doing it herself, right?
Yep.
Actually putting out like breakdowns of how she approaches comics, how a comic comes together, all of that directly to readers, to new readers, and to people that are coming into her books for the very first time. I think for some of the older creators, that's something that, I mean, I do see folks like Mark Wade, like they're on the podcast circuit often, but a lot of them just don't really understand that. They just think of marketing in some respects as like traditional, like how it used to be, just in the back of books or whatever. And so I think as time passes forward and you start to get more and more creators coming into comics who really have a really good understanding of this is where the audience is, especially new readers. Like these people are online, to your point, they're looking up comics, they're looking for information and knowledge for comics. You're going to see more of that. I mean, my hope is that you'll continue to see more of that because these people are growing up in a world like Stephanie Williams of the world, right? These are people who have grown up in the same ecosystem that we have and understand the importance of this is how you actually reach like new readers and reach potential readers and an audience because people are online.
I think of one of the creators that's also really good at this from a different angle, though, is Kirkman. Kirkman understands there are new readers out there, but he's really kind of honing in on this animation to comics pipeline. And like the fact that Invincible is being devoured across different mediums, even video games now. Mm-hmm. That both Sean and Marco kicked my ass in at New York Comic Con last year. But what's that face, Marco?
It's like me?
Yeah, well, I was little. It was an open bar, you know, so I was a little. I was in it. But like just the fact that like that's another way of avenue that I think some creators who are in the know, like Kirkman, who has always been tapped in to trends, are trying to find new readers. They're finding people through television, through animation as well.
Just want to point out we have over 200 people once again rocking with us. Thank you all so much. You guys are incredible. The best audience on YouTube as far as I'm concerned. You're putting us up there with the big boys. So thank you for that. It means a lot to me, and I hope that you enjoy what we do around here. And if you haven't subscribed, we, by the way, hit 7K once again.
Okay.
So thank you so much for getting us back over the hump. Really appreciate that. 7K. We're going to have our 7K Q&A this Tuesday. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to celebrate the fact that your boys are in the 7K club and kick off the road to 8K. You know what I mean? Let's talk about one last tendril here.
Okay.
Or at least one last tendril that I have. And that's competition. Comic books today are better, in my opinion, better than ever. I believe that the overall there are more good books being published than there have ever been. If you leave the big two, especially, and you look all across the industry, we've never had more access to great diverse titles than we do right now. However, while all of those publishers and books are competing with each other, there's also competition that exists outside of comics. The comic book industry is competing with this, with what I hold in my hands, which is my phone. It's competing with my phone. It's competing with my PlayStation. It's competing with movies, television, and everything else. And I think that this industry has to do every single thing that it can to make a foothold in your life. And I don't think it does enough. It's cool to read Something is Killing the Children. Put Something is Killing the Children merch in my fucking face. Put it everywhere. It should be all over the place.
I was going to say, I think bringing up Something is Killing the Children is interesting because Tinian and Tiny Onion have been trying something different here. They're doing merch for shit. What's the book that just came out that just ended? Exquisite Corpses. Yeah, they're doing an Exquisite Corpses Kickstarter board game, which I think is great marketing because comic book reader and board game player, I think is untapped potential. I think there's a lot of overlap in that Venn diagram. So them kind of doing that, I'm getting targeted ads for that. I'm seeing more Exquisite Corpses non-comic stuff now on my social media feeds than I actually am seeing of the comic. So I think there's things like that could definitely be beneficial.
We need to be inundated with this stuff. We need to see this stuff all over the place. Anything that feels like it has breakaway potential should be all over the place. Why is there nothing major being done with Saga? And I guess that maybe is a bad example because creators themselves kind of want it to be just a comic book. Yeah. But like it could be just a comic and there could be so many pieces of merchandise and marketing and everything else. Like where's it at?
You hit on the merch part of it, Sean. I don't know if there's a contractual reason why they don't. You've got to explain to me why there is essentially like no official absolute DC merchandise out there. This is like these comics are massive. They have a huge audience, especially with amongst new younger readers. People like to feel part of something. It's a huge reason why Absolute is so successful with new young readers because they feel like this is my Batman. I am on the ground floor of this character who is speaking to my problems and issues today. And people like to rep things. I mean, there are people that will rep and wear merchandise for live streamers and Twitch people. If people will do that, they will be out there in the streets rocking their Absolute Wonder Woman stuff, their Martian Manhunter stuff. So it's weird to me that they have just not gone all in on creating actual fit and drip for the Absolute line so that people can go out there and like spread the culture for this line of comics. It's just weird to me that this is not, I mean, I don't know, is there a reason for this or they don't like making money?
Marvel's much better at it. Like if you go to like a Hot Topic, which I want to do, there's a decent amount of Marvel merch in those places, especially if a movie is coming out. And even on the Hot Topics website, they have a lot of print to order stuff. So like I have I have a Bullseye comic book shirt with like Thunderbolts comic art on it. I have, so I have a Fing Fang Foom shirt. So like Marvel has ways of getting stuff out there. Like even I go on DCshop.com, there's one Absolute Batman shirt and one Absolute Wonder Woman shirt, and they look identical. There's no Absolute Superman. There's the only other shirt is Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow cover and the Superman 2025 logo shirt that I see that are in like their bestsellers. Which like, why aren't they in a Hot Topic? Even at a convention, you have to find the DC merch.
Power of t-shirts.
I would buy I don't mean maybe it does exist and I'm just ignorant and that's fair, but I'd buy an absolute Batman toy right now and I don't collect toys.
There doesn't exist an official one, no. Besides
That's crazy.
the hot toys one, which you're looking at a couple grand or something like that.
Someone showed me through our Discord that absolute Batman. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. It's a spoiler. No, who fucking cares? That absolute Batman is in the Lego Batman game. Like, that's cool as hell. And that's the kind of thing that we need to see more of. But for every, you open a DC comic, this is Ben 10, but you open a DC comic
Stop.
and you see I know, right? You see a preview for absolute, or Barbara Gordon Breakout, that's fine. Show me the merch. Show me somebody bad, a woman, a man, whatever, rocking absolute merch. Let me see that. Let me see them rocking an absolute Wonder Woman shirt. Let me see an absolute Superman hoodie. Imagine how hard that hoodie would go. An absolute Superman hoodie. Where is it at? That's how you penetrate into the wider market, right? Like, I was just talking to somebody about this the other day because they asked me where they can get our shirt. And I was like, well, dude, how did the Gap blow up? Right? The Gap blew up because people see the Gap on the fucking t-shirt. So they go buy it. That's the greatest marketing of all time. You don't even have to spend ad dollars. Your ad dollars were made for you by somebody buying your shirt and wearing it outside. Come on. That's how you market today.
People like to rep the things they rock with.
Yeah.
Like, how many people do you see out there rocking their Beyonce stuff or Taylor Swift or whatever, any of these things that they love, right? They want to show you, this is the thing that I love more than anything. And I just went on the website just now just to see like the DC's official shop. There's like some merch on there now. It's like, sprinkled in. There's some absolute Batman. There's like one absolute Wonder Woman shirt, and it's the Jim Lee designs that are on the recent covers for the volume ones. But I mean, there's some stuff on here, not nearly enough considering how big these books are.
It's a shame.
There is a Captain Cold shirt on there though. That looks kind of fucking fire though, I will say. But like these, like, how cool would it be to see like an absolute Batman logo shirt at Target? Whoever's controlling like the marketing for 90s animation, they're killing it in these Targets and in Old Navies, But like, even like one of these shirts would be interesting to put in there, like to be able to like put out that merch and the branding out there for third parties. I actually used to, I got banned from it from Redbubble. Are you guys familiar with Redbubble?
Yeah.
I got like perma-banned for like multiple emails. Like I can't buy anything from there anymore because I used to make knockoff superhero shirts that were that would look like like you were wearing the costume of the hero, like those costume shirts for like obscure heroes. Like I did, like before Vision was ever in a movie, I had like the Vision, like it was just a yellow diamond on a green shirt, but like that was enough to be like, oh, this is a Vision shirt. Or I would do like an Animal Man shirt, and those sell. Like I was, in freshman in college, just making like $200 a month doing nothing. And I'm not even printing it, like I'm getting the smallest chunk of change from this transaction. But like those shirts would be fucking sick to see, even if it is print to order on DC website.
And it should be. They have the ability. I, for years, have always wanted, pick your favorite cover that goes on a shirt. I did the same thing that you were doing, Tyler.
They used to do that though. We Love Find was a website that would do it. That's why I have the Moon Knight, the run we read, the Jeff Lemire run.
Yeah,
I have that Moon Knight shirt of when he has like the director slap board, they would do like every Wednesday, they would have new shirts that you could only buy that week for every one of Marvel's covers that came out that week. And it was only print to order for that week only. And they did it for about like a year and a half. But like you could get a fucking unbeatable Squirrel Girl shirt if you really wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah. And they've been doing like collabs. Who just called it out? Somebody called it out about like the Dick's Sporting Goods collab. And then also recently US Soccer stuff. Like there's they are doing things, but it is not to the degree that leans into the fandom aspect of it. Like I always hate the drops because I think they do too much with like the design. Like there's a Supergirl Bilquis Evely design that is just like a still of the art, but all around the sweatshirt. Do something simple. Give me the logos
Well,
are great.
that's a taste thing, though. You know.
It is, but I think there's a I don't know. I think there is definitely like a path to be able to do that and facilitate that in a really easy way.
Well, I think what Marco is highlighting is that is the piece of accessibility, which the reason to do this is marketing, right? So like at least that's my perspective. Is like, you put these clothes out, you put these. Someone said a lunchbox. Where's the absolute Batman lunchbox at, right? Like imagine it's shaped like his fucking logo or something.
Oh,
Imagine
cool.
Where is it at?
a 5-year-old with an absolute Batman lunchbox. Like, what is that?
Absolutely,
Oh,
bro.
Here,
That would
check
go
this
so
out.
hard, though,
He
man.
kicks someone like us.
That would have, I bring it on, bro. That's phenomenal. But those simple things are what the least common denominator person or the most common denominator, whatever, can get. I can afford a $30 absolute Batman shirt. I can't afford some boutique special drop that's like $60, $80 for a t-shirt or whatever it is. And if it's a super crazy design, I probably don't even want it. Something simple, to the point. That's what we need more of. Marvel crushes DC when it comes to this. But
Yeah.
again, I'm not thinking about one publisher versus another. I'm thinking about the whole industry. Everybody with a book that's big should have merchandise going crazy.
And like I know Marvel and Disney have a stake in Epic. So they get a lot of Fortnite. A lot of Marvel Fortnite happens. But imagine Absolute Batman was in Fortnite. You know? Imagine getting 6-7 Victory Royale
That-
emoted. Oh,
the
right.
axe
The
is
axe
like-
is a perfect thing.
Dude,
Yeah.
come on.
And like having like a bundle with the absolute trinity in Fortnite. That would be insane. And like that would be like, oh, then you have all the Fortnite accounts literally for free tweeting about Absolute for you. You have all those streamers who like whenever the shop refreshes at 8 p.m. on a weekday, they're like, oh, let's check out the new shop. That is free advertising you have there. And Marvel does it like crazy. They just did like Luna Snow has a skin, but Green Lantern doesn't. You know? So I think collaborating with video game companies, especially these live service games that actually do well, is big.
Mhm.
Gibson Putt makes a good point. New name to me. Welcome. Says, while we're on the subject of absolute Batman lunchboxes, I can't stand the fact that any quality nerdy merch is like $70 and only accessible by niche stores and websites. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And I think that's sort of what Marco was getting at too. These things should be affordable. They should be fun and exciting. And they should encourage you. Chris has said it multiple times. People want to wear stuff that represents what they're into. They just do. I'm shocked whenever one of you says, oh, I just bought a Comics Pal such and such. You did what? You want to wear what? But you do. And that's how it is. And I think that leaning into that as a business is one of the smartest things you can do.
Easiest thing.
Yeah,
Easy all day.
I wear my Freebie Bridger shirt so I can talk to all the bisexual baristas out there. Like it is a talking point, you know?
Right.
Which criminal that I didn't get to go to that show on Thursday. That's fucked up.
Damn, dude. That's homophobic.
A great idea.
Your mic
Tyler,
only got the phobic part. So it's just across the board phobic. All of them.
Across.
That's
Oh,
phobic.
But like t-shirts can be talking points to people. You know what I mean? Like it's like a legit thing. I have there's a lot of like bootleggers that I get stuff from. Like I have a Swamp Thing shirt. I have a Doom Patrol long sleeve shirt, you know? But yeah, I mean, I have also, I think last I checked, we're close to 200 t-shirts. So I need to fucking chill.
Damn.
Whoa.
But like even those like button down shirts I get, they have nerdy ones that like DC and Marvel puts those out. But like they're like $70. So like I gotta be selective on those.
Oh man. Oh man. Look, I think we've hit on most, if not all, of the problems that the comics industry has. We could probably sit here for another hour and rap about other things, but Jesus
Diversity. Yeah, there's other things we can
Data.
talk about. No,
Christ. Data, yeah, all
AI.
that stuff. AI, which is becoming scarier and scarier. But the point of this episode, the point of this portion of the episode, was to illuminate the fact that there are a lot of problems, but there are also solutions that don't require you to boycott anything, right? This is an industry that is on the precipice of thriving, and the people in charge of it just have to push the button. There are a lot of buttons that have to be pushed, but they're there. It's not like these buttons don't exist. So, as far as what we can do about it, support what you love, man. Destro earlier, who was talking all that shit, was right about supporting what you love and the creators you love. Yes, you should do that. We, of course, are creators that you love. But you should support what you love. You should put your money where your mouth is. And I hope that the industry will react to that. That's all we can do. That's all we can do. Hey, but you know what? What do I know? According to someone, I'm just
Comic Pals, you about a stupid motherfucker.
there we go.
what do I know? Right?
What do you
I
know?
Yeah.
Anything?
Yeah. I don't know anything.
Nothing. What is he, Tyler?
Oh, come on, guys.
Comic Pals, you about a stupid motherfucker.
I don't know why I had to throw in the runaway note there.
It was necessary.
Oh, man. Oh, motherfucking man. If you want to hear what my thoughts on that audio, you're going to have to stick around just a little bit longer. Just a little longer. We're going to get into it. So, Chris.
Yeah.
This is your second time being with us. I noticed you did a couple videos since our last hangout. What's going on your channel, brother?
Yeah, man. Just talking about various things in comics, in and around it that, whatever is on my mind. And, recently I talked about earlier, the idea of what makes you stop buying a comic was a thought that we've talked about in Discord before, in conversations you guys have had on here, like the things that make you say, I'm not interested in anymore. So that was just something that was on my mind and I wanted to talk about. And then yesterday, I put out a video just talking about the state of video game adaptations in comics and comic video games, since we had Wolverine get revealed, which looks insane. I don't know if anybody else watched the footage. It looks crazy. This is from Insomniac. They did the Spider-Man games. But yeah, someone mentioned it earlier in the chat that, and I talked about this in the video, and you guys left some really cool comments, that this, Marvel seems to be a little bit more ahead of the curve when it comes to the gaming industry right now, because not only did Disney have a relationship with Fortnite, and so they're putting Marvel characters out the wazoo, and that they even had like a Doom season and Thanos and all that. But then Marvel Rivals is huge. You got Tokon coming out, and between that and the mobile stuff, like Marvel seems to be like actually really tapping into gaming, whereas DC, doesn't seem to have as much of a foothold in that. And there's so many characters at DC when you think about Green Lantern and Flash and Wonder Woman, and other characters that have simply never been really given that treatment outside of like some Lego stuff. And so I as to the point of today's conversation, like what a missed marketing opportunity to start putting out, not just like even like TV adaptations and cartoons and animated stuff, but that's a whole other conversation. But video games are huge, massive audience. I mean, in some ways, the video game industry is, I don't think some ways, I think it's actually literally bigger than TV and film in terms of revenue. So it's crazy to me that both publishers, all these other publishers, are not being as aggressive as possible about putting out games and stuff and content for these characters, especially given how awesome these worlds are, how cool these characters are. Like imagine a Green Lantern game, or imagine how hard a Wonder Woman game would go. We almost had it, and every time I think about it, I get even more depressed. But yeah, so that's some of the things I've been talking about.
Yeah, at least Disney and Marvel have some stake in video games now, and they're recognizing it as a kind of a third space for a lot of the younger generation. So For better or for worse, like that the fact that that's the third space and it's not mall food courts anymore. I have an issue with that, but
And you can find, if you like Chris, if you've enjoyed his 2 appearances here so far, if you enjoy his takes, if you enjoy the teases he just gave you about what he's been talking about in his videos, Chris covers comics on YouTube. Growing as a channel, I'm loving what you've been doing. I watched the first video you pushed out this week, dude. I thought it was really good. Keep it up, man.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks. You gonna be back
I
too.
linked it in the chat too, so check it out.
Hell yeah. Now, you guys know this is the first Saturday of June. And June is going to be a big month for us, right? We're not fucking around in June. Because not only are we going to HeroesCon, we're branching out for the first time in a decade to go to a con not called NYCC, right? So that's a big deal. We hit 7K, so this Tuesday we're doing the 7K Q&A. Tyler and I are celebrating our birthdays this month. I'm 616, Tyler's 619.
Booyaka!
You need that drop.
Yeah, I do.
So we're all over the map this month, baby. And one of the ways we're celebrating is we are doing a top 5 Superman villains because it's Superman month, Superman family month. Supergirl is coming out. We're doing top 5 Superman villains, 5 through 4. We're going to get into that in just a moment. But I also want to let you know to vote in the Superman Family Book Club poll, an assload of you have the ability to vote. Because all you have to do is be a member of our Patreon at the lowest tier, and you can vote. So jump on board if you haven't, or if you already have, just get your vote in. I don't want to call it quite yet. I want to give it until Tuesday. But right now, Superman for All Seasons is dominating the poll.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So that's one of your options. All-Star Superman, Supergirl by Peter David, and Superman Last Son of Krypton, which is Jeff Johns and others. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be for all seasons, which I'm shocked at.
I ain't never reading All-Star now.
I would have hoped for the Peter David stuff.
That was the dark horse, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy how Supergirl's not going to win in the month.
On her month?
Her movie's
Wow.
coming out.
That's crazy.
Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow didn't even make the list, dude.
Damn. Why
That's
even read about it? We could just watch it.
Yes.
Maybe that's the logic there. It could be. Hey, Gavin Guidry's with us, and he says his birthday's 6/29. That's awesome.
Oh shit, Gavin. Cool.
Gav, do you already have like dinner plans for HeroesCon booked out? Because I would love to be able to have you come to dinner with us, man. I want to buy you a drink if you drink.
If he drinks, of course, Gavin.
Drink that
I see Gavin at that Marvel pub post New York Comic Con. You know.
Hey, I'd go to that Marvel pub and drink dog water if it meant I could chill with those creators.
I think this past year I was getting a Guinness and I turned around. I think Satrapi was right there. Fucking scared the shit out of me. Looking like a Game of Thrones character in modern menswear.
Who did I go upstairs with? Was it you, Marco?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went upstairs. Who the fuck did we see? We saw Tom Brevoort or somebody was there.
Yeah, we saw the hat.
It was Tom Brevoort with the hat. He was speaking with someone. Somebody came out of nowhere and was like, "Hey, who are you guys?" And we're like, "Oh, we're just hanging out." And they're like, "No, yeah, this is private." And we're like,
That's
"Okay,
closed.
fuck it. Yeah, we're closed." Yeah, okay. I see Tom Brevoort's fucking hatted ass.
You should have said, "My name is Akira Yoshida."
I belong here.
Arigato.
Can't you tell?
Origami.
That's crazy.
Man, oh man. Yeah, Gavin says we're definitely gonna go to dinner. Sounds fucking great. You know who?
Barbecue.
Oh, that sounds good. BJ's friend was like, "Oh, we should do Ethiopian."
Oh,
That's
use your hands with it. Yeah,
That's good.
just eat that shit.
I've never had Ethiopian food, so
Me neither.
and I'm not going to be at
Wow,
HeroesCon. So that
wow.
barbecue sounded real good.
Sean said Ethiopian.
That's
That's wild.
Sure the fuck did. Oh shit. Okay, let's get into our Superman villains top 5. We're doing 5 and 4 today.
And
I'll
four.
go. I'll go. Number 5 and 4. Okay. Number 5. Because it's one of the stupidest fucking villains in comics. And that's the Ultra Humanite. This varying degrees of size giant albino gorilla that has the brain energy of a mad scientist who is sometimes a Nazi. Like, it is the most like Silver Age character ever, which I think I wanted to at least have representation on my top 5 list. And also, like, it gives Superman a big gorilla to fight, which is like also fun. I don't have much to say about the Ultra Humanite other than like it's stupid as hell and I love it. Number 4, and I'd say his name backwards if I knew how, but I'm gonna go with Mr. Mxyzptlk. The idea of this fifth dimensional imp, really not even being a villain to Superman, but more like just a fucking rage baiting troll that gets to fight Superman in a way that is just not fist versus fist. You know, he makes Superman become a problem solver. It also kind of leads to a lot of hijinks that let Superman do some like cool action set pieces. I think Mr. Mxyzptlk is a lot of fun, especially with that the other fifth dimensional imp that was in Morrison's Action Comics run. You remember that guy? He like the devil. But like the whole idea of those imps is a lot of fun. I like the way they play with Superman.
Hell yeah.
Going down the similar route, my number 5 is Mr. Mxyzptlk. For pretty much the same reasons. Less red on my part, but I think the fact that it's a way to put Superman in a otherwise box that he has to work his way out of, as opposed to, like you said, punch his way out. I think can be interesting for story. Also look a little shit. And then my number 4, because I find him annoying, is Bizarro. Iconic villain, but goddamn if I can't work my way around the Bizarro speak and it
Give it a shot. Do the rest of this in Bizarro speak.
No, it
yeah.
not frustrate me too much, and I wish I had heard it more. I'd heard it less because it is the best.
You have a tough time with that.
It's so asinine to me, and the fact that he's a villain and such a frequent villain is
No,
frustrating.
he am hero.
Uh-huh.
That is so funny.
Chris, do you want to shout out any particular villains?
Sean, we stay ready, man.
Hell yeah.
Number 5. I'm gonna go back to the 90s. This is actually one of the first villains I think I read, and I've always loved this character. Number 5, Conduit. He's a bit in that hater class of villains like Black Manta, Veronica Cale, and I think he was kind of like an indirect inspiration for all like the meteor freaks that we saw in the Smallville show, which was like he was this kid who got like kryptonite poisoning when Kal-El like landed in Smallville. And so he ends up like having to deal with this like his whole life, and eventually like grows up like resenting Clark because like Clark gets girls and gets, you know, he's the star of the football team and all that. And then eventually he finds out Superman's secret identity is Clark Kent, like this kid he's hated all his life, and he gets like this suit that allows him to harness his powers, and he becomes like a Superman villain and tries to like torment Clark Kent. And that's what's always fascinated me about Conduit. He doesn't hate Superman, he hates Clark. Like it goes deep. And he's had a cool aesthetic. I think he's showed up in a few stuff recently, like in Action Comics, like years ago. And then he was actually on one of the covers for the crossovers, which was really cool. So I ended up getting that. But yeah, Conduit, number 5. And number
sorry, not to interrupt, Chris, but Ahmed says Conduit, get this man a straitjacket.
I'm just saying, sorry. It's my list, okay? If you have a list, I mean, good sir, you give us that list, okay? This is the Chris list. Number 4, this might be a little bit of a swerve because he could be higher for a lot of people. Number 4 is Zod. Zod is basically kind of like the living, like the original dark Superman, right? Not dark Superman, you know what I mean? Dark, evil. Basically, the cautionary tale of what Superman could be. if he didn't value humanity and Earth and actually aspire to be the very tyrant that so many people feared that he could become. Like he's the definitive first of that class and has always been like a top tier villain. Of course, he was Terrence Stamp in Superman 2, incredible performance and iconic, and Kneel Before Zod and all that. So yeah, Zod's my number 4.
Love it, dude. That's it's a good start. So for me, my number 5 is Mongol. Mongol is a villain who I really was only introduced to in Warworld, and I was enthralled by this character, by his history, the way he works, how there's been multiple Mongols. This is just the one we're dealing with right now, and that it's a moniker that you get based on being the strongest on Warworld, based on being, you know, the guy. You become Mongol by surviving Warworld. That would breed a vicious, monstrous killer, which is what we get from Mongol, and not just a monstrous killer, but an enslaver. You know, somebody who doesn't believe in freedom, like as a baseline, doesn't believe in freedom or justice. That's a perfect antagonist for Superman, who is a freedom fighter at his core. He fights for the freedom of other people. And so watching those two clash, I really thought was amazing. And I hope we get it again, you know. So Mongol number 5. My number 4, though, is Cyborg Superman. Yo, aesthetics, all of that. I think Cyborg Superman looks cool as shit. The only Superman villain to scare me, because in the original Death of Superman video game on Sega, Cyborg Superman is the last boss, and one of the bosses you fight fairly consistently. And I was freaked out by him because I'm like, wait, what happened to Superman to make him like this? This is crazy. And he was so evil and menacing with that sick smile. I just love Cyborg Superman. So that's my number 4. We will get you the rest of those throughout the month. I see a bunch of you leaving your top 5, which I love. Tyler said number 5 is Mixie. Number 4 is Brainiac. Matt Cosmo says his number 1 is Witchfire. Shit, she might have made my list based on what just happened in Superman recently.
Woo! Woo!
You talk about fire.
Dan Mora popped off, bro.
When does he not?
Yo, the fact that Dan Mora and Jimenez were born a day apart is insane to me.
Wait, what?
They have back-to-back birthdays. They just had birthdays together. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
And I think they are the same age.
Kind of cute.
Wow.
I think roughly the same age.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Dude, when I saw that they're only slightly older than me, I was like, yo,
I
I've
hate when I
wasted
figure
it
that.
all.
Yeah, man. Like when I find out a wrestler is like 24, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
Or that kid, the dude who made Backrooms is 20.
Excuse me.
The dude who made Backrooms, the movie,
Yeah.
is 20 years old.
Dude, too busy trying to make back rooms. I'm trying to make back shots, Chris. Come on, let's be real.
Yo,
That's
crazy.
fucking crazy.
missing a sound right there, Tyler.
He doesn't do it to himself.
Oh, whoops. Oh, damn it. Not while he was drinking.
The runaway.
Oh man. The Long Island Dash, the rest of your name is cut off for me. So I can't see the whole thing.
Experience.
Okay. $4.99, thank you so much, says, just wanted to say, love the show. I never catch you live, but always watch the replays, especially Pals Pulls once I read all my books. Long Island Dash experience, that is super, super nice of you to say. Thank you so much. I'm really glad that you enjoy what we do.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, it might be my favorite Long Islander now.
Mine too. I always like it when someone compliments Pals Pulls because I feel like that's the little show that could. Like, we've really put a lot into trying to make that show pop, and now it regularly has over 100 viewers live, and that's a beautiful thing. Love that. I remember when we were struggling to get 20 of you in there to watch
Yeah,
that
they're
show.
all half of them were Conladas.
At any given point.
We got a Patreon pal question, so I would love to tackle that if we can.
Yeah.
Who's gonna read that? Not me.
I can, because Marco's got a weird setup this week. So let's see.
I got it.
Shoutouts here.
I got it.
Oh,
From
full fuck
Haiti.
me then.
Yeah. Hey. Sorry, hey pals. Last month was Mental Health Awareness Month. So while I'm late, I don't think mental health should be relegated to 1 month. So here's my question: do you have a favorite book depicting mental health struggles? And if so, what is it? What is that book? Mine is Solanin by Inio Asano, same creator as Goodnight Punpun. It features a 21-year-old woman who quits her dead-end retail job and takes a year off to truly find herself. It deals with stuff such as loss, depression, and the feeling of being lost that so many young adults struggle with today. This book struck a chord with me when I initially read it years ago and was in a similar position to the main character. I highly recommend this to any young adult watching this, and it's a one shot, so it's a quick read. Thanks, pals. Just in general, I have not read this one Inyo Asano book, but I get it recommended all the time. Shout out to Goodnight Poon Poon.
Wait, you've not
so-
read it? Don't you
not
have a
Solanin.
shirt?
No, Goodnight Poon Poon I've read, but Solanin I've not read.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So I trust the creator. So if anybody, that's a double confirmation off that, even though I haven't read the book yet.
I have one right off the bat, and it's the one I recommend pretty much in any situation, and that's Zoe Thorogood's "It's Lonely at the Center of the Earth." It quite literally deals with depression and during COVID, post COVID, and coming to terms with that. It's a real personal piece, and it speaks to me on a lot of different levels. I know she's currently working on the sequel to it that deals with loss and death, and I'm excited feels like a bad word, but I just know that Zoe Thorogood puts out phenomenal work. Anything that she does, even a cover, I will check out. So, yeah, it's Lonely at the Center of the Earth, and it's center spelled in the British way. So,
I want to shout out for a big two example. I always love this story and I go back to it. Like the original, I think was it Justice League 31 through 33, the Jeff Johns, Doug Mankey stuff. The Arrival of Jessica Cruz and the Power Ring saga. This character who literally just trapped in fear and anxiety after watching her friends be murdered and like doesn't want to go outside because completely isolated herself and doesn't know how to really cope with the world anymore, like dealing with that and that kind of trauma and being like the bondage of that was really powerful. And to see her then obviously be like forced to deal with it because she gets literally this ring that is a fear entity attracts itself to her, and then with the help of Batman and her own self, learns to overcome that. And it's honestly incredible to think about where that character's journey has come from that moment where she literally couldn't function because of this thing that happened to her that traumatized her, to now see her literally a decade plus later still be a relevant character in comics. But more importantly, she's now a leader of the Green Lantern Corps on Oa, which is just such an incredible journey, really underrated. Like people don't talk enough about how incredible Jessica Cruz is, and I'm glad that DC is actually she's getting her own animated show and all that, because I think she's one of the more relatable characters. Like who can't relate to that? I mean, very hyper specific example, obviously, but being sort of in the prison of your own fear and your own anxiety. So I wanted to shout that out specifically.
That's a great shout out. Mine is a Rick Remender joint. Surprise, surprise. Tokyo Ghost. Tokyo Ghost is not explicitly about examining mental health. But it is a book that affected, or like reading it was a mental health journey for me. That book affects me very deeply. It's the comic that I most personally relate and connect to. And it's about a lot of things, but it's about a love between two people that is impacted by one of them's inability to let go of their trauma and to find a way to move on without coping all the time, which in the case of the book is coping through the internet and technology. And so I really connect with that and relate to that story. And for me, that's where I go if I'm feeling low and I want to read a book that kind of brings me into that spot and has an uplifting ending, which is rare for Mr. Remender.
I think Remender does a real good job at caging like real internal struggles, mental health and trauma in big heady ideas. Like Black Science is a lot about that. It's about familial trauma. If you got daddy issues, read Rick Remender.
Do it now. Mine is a book called Parenthesis by Elodie Durand. And it is a book that it's a graphic memoir, and it follows the cartoonist as she tries to piece together parts of her life because she has, since her teens, a tumor that presses on her brain, and it causes seizures, it causes memory loss, it causes personality change. And throughout the book, over the course of years, it goes through her experience of doctor's visitations, the effects that it has on her family and the effects that it has on all the people around her, a struggle to identify with who she actually is because it changes so often, and that what is the reality of who you are if it's so affected by something as physical but as attached and ascribed to yourself. Really, really recommend it. Pulled a tear or three out of me. And shout outs to her new book, which I haven't yet gotten a chance to read, but Transitions, which talks about her son's transition.
That's a big topic. I think all the books we shouted out are heavy. And yeah, I think you've got some good recommendations there, Hayden, and anybody who might be interested. Chip Crisper with the 5 spot. Thank you so much. Says I'm 25 minutes behind on the stream. So on the topic of merch, I bought 3 Absolute Trinity tote bags for like $5 a piece from Third Eye Comics. That's fire.
Yeah, those are new things that they've been doing. Like they're like made for carrying comic books too, I think.
Yeah, that's cool as hell. I love that. I want one. Might have to
hell
slide over there. Wait, Third Eye Comics. Where am I sliding to? They don't have a location in New York.
Tyler, you were quick with those graphics.
Yeah, that was crazy, Tyler. Good
I
job.
have to be.
All right. Now we can finally get into the news, of which there is quite a bit. And well, I guess there's not quite a bit, but there's some of it's meaty. But unfortunately, we do have to start with something that is not fun and negative, and that is that Marjane Satrapi, the creator of Persepolis, has unfortunately passed at the very early age, or young age, in my opinion, of 56 years old. And the reason she died, or the reason that they say she passed, is even sadder. Here's a quote from her family. Marjane Satrapi died of sadness a little over a year after the death of Matthias Ripa, her husband and the love of her life. So that's really, really sad. And some people may read that and go, that's bullshit. She probably had some underlying medical condition, blah, blah, blah. I believe it. I don't know.
That's a real thing. No, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
And it unfortunately happens with people like that. Like just people that are like so entwined in terms of who they are and their identities, and just like dying of heartbreak is a real thing. I think that happened with like the Central Park Zoo polar bear actually as well, where like shortly after one of them passed, the other one just couldn't go on anymore. And it's like, man, that's fucking sad.
Cool.
But Persepolis is, it's one of those books that like made graphic novels. It like upped the idea of what a graphic novel is. It's up there with like Mouse. It elevated it, it elevated to like, oh, this is an art form. This is a way that we can tell, actual important stories. That's not just Batman, Spider-Man, Superman. If you guys don't know about Persepolis, was about Marjane, I believe, growing up in Iran during the Islamic Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually a 2007 film, which I've never seen. And like the film is supposed to be phenomenal as well. An animated film. But yeah, it's a pretty impactful book that really, I think, changed the medium, which I can't say for a lot of books.
I'm not going to get on here and lie. I've never read anything that Marjane wrote. The reason why I felt it was important to include this is because whatever I have read or don't or haven't, we have to acknowledge people who, you know, contributed to what we do and added value to our space. And Marjane did that through Persepolis and through her other works. 56 years old is far too young to die. At that age, we can't even say she didn't have more contributions to make.
Yeah.
You
As a
know,
creator,
Yeah.
come on.
Years ahead of her.
yeah. So that's a real bummer.
In the comic space, you have years upon years, and I didn't even know this that she had more than that. I thought it was one of those like, oh, Persepolis was the thing she was known for and kind of succeeded on, but there's so much more to her work that I think it's also a something that illuminates her talent.
Yeah. Yeah. Douglas brings up how Charlie Murphy died because of his wife dying too. And I remember when Charlie died, and I was really sad about that. Man, this is a cruel world, but we're lucky that we got the contributions from Marjane that we were able to. That's all we can have. Her legacy lives on.
And Douglas says the film is great. Crazy enough, I've seen the movie. I loved the movie. This conversation is how I learned that this was a comic.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I didn't.
Yeah.
The movie is amazing.
Yeah.
I did
It's like
not know it was actually based on a graphic novel.
Yeah.
Wow. So we're about to lose Marco. And he's not dying, but like
He's having like
Chris was
the
concerned.
Sonic
Got-
underwater
got me
sound
scared.
effect going on in the background.
I tried my best.
We didn't get Marco's take on the boycott last week. And I really didn't want you to head out without at least sharing a few of your thoughts on that, if you would.
Yeah, actually,
Statement.
I do a prepared statement.
Oh, my man wrote this out. This is beautiful.
So I have, what I have what I had. I posted something on Twitter a few days ago, just in terms of like the whole of what it is, and I'll summarize it because I think really what I wanted to get at was the idea, the concept of the boycott, the blackout itself was a bit backwards in its approach. We need to really re-examine it. This is not disputing the facts at all. It's been 1,200 and X days that there has not been a ongoing, mainline book leading with a black lead, which in my opinion is a bit narrow, but I was definitely in favor of a buyout. The concept that we should be doing instead is ensuring the sellout of black led titles or titles with black creators, be it indie or otherwise, to inform the retailers, as we talked earlier. That is the only other way to make meaningful impact to a publisher. Is they have to reorder it. Oh my God, we have to reorder it. Hey, publishers, print more. And that, I think, is the more effective use of our dollars. It is a focusing of the dollars. It is not reallocation. I think while the idea and the sentiment behind comes from maybe a good place, the way to execute that, there's a way that is more positive for the actual community. And for two reasons. The retailers are that front line, right? And so if the retailers are affected more by the boycotts than the publishers themselves, that cannot be an acceptable loss. That cannot be collateral damage. They are the backbone. They are the support of all of what the industry is and rides on. So we can't do that. That's something that can't necessarily be allowed. And then the second is just we need to keep the momentum that we've had over the past few years, be it DC or otherwise, which is continuing to push the medium forward and further. And we do that, as we've talked about, with our dollars. We do that only as, yes, it's ultimately a business. And so we have to make, for us, the purchasing power decision to drive the business forward with momentum, maintain the momentum, because that is how you get more books in the space. For what it's worth, and it's not a fun fact, but these are titles that typically do not have the same long-term sustainability as other titles, and so the support of an Absolute Batman, which we've seen in mainline, has granted and provided the access and ability for us to have a Challengers of the Unknown book, to have a question book, and now with the next level things, a disparate array of different types of stories. And so the very fact that we had the success of these books means that if we continue to push forward from a business perspective, use the purchasing power that we have to support DC and specifically allocate those dollars in certain places, that sends a message, and that helps to then provide the room, the on-ramp for creators or stories for Black characters to exist. And so go buy comics. Don't, sell out. Prove to DC that we really need the market to expand and explode, and this is the way to do it. You drop Spider-Man, go pick up Black Panther, right? Drop, I don't know, maybe a Poison Ivy title. Well, it's probably
Wow,
so
he
maybe
said,
not
he
that
said
one.
fuck queer women. Jeez, you heard that from Marco.
Marco.
Jeez.
And go buy Titans.
Marco.
But go support those books because that is the way to move things forward.
Thank you,
Y'all are
Marco.
dumb motherfuckers.
A measured response. I'm glad we at least got one of those in.
Oh. Marco, thank you so much for that. That was very well said, very measured, very appropriate about what I would expect from you.
You coward.
Pussy.
Oof, man. One thing about me, you can't call me that one. I'm about to fucking explode. Marco, you're headed out, dude.
Yeah, with that.
Hey.
Not that
Thank
kind
you guys
of
so much.
explosion.
Chris, good to see you guys. Boys,
Marco, man.
look
Good
with
to
us
see you.
the show.
All right, see you, Marco.
Be safe out there in these firework streets.
Yo, word. Bye.
He had to flee the state. All right, which one is this? Oh, Chris is not Marco. We gotta fix that.
So we might as well get into it now, right?
Yeah,
We might as well swap the order and get into it now and talk about DC Blackout and how the boycott that was is no longer. Less than a week, I believe, the boycott lasted. Grand opening, grand closing, all that jazz, Comics Beat put up an article that has the statement that came from the Black Comic Alliance, which is organized by a variety of Black comic book YouTubers who took in together to essentially point out the fact that DC had not published a mainline book that's not a team book with a Black character that's an ongoing. They hadn't done that in 1,200 days. And that's what the DC So White movement was. It evolved into a boycott campaign, the DC Blackout. And here is the statement that was made by the organization. I'm assuming probably James Portis III wrote it, but I don't know that for a fact. It's coming from the organization. First and foremost, we want to thank everyone who has supported the DC So White campaign. Since the beginning of this year, thousands of comic readers, retailers, creators, and fans have joined us in advocating for greater investment in Black characters and opportunities for Black creators within the comic book industry. Today, we're announcing an end to the boycott. This decision comes after a lot of reflection and conversations with members of the community. While the boycott was launched to draw attention to an issue we believe remains important, it became clear the conversation surrounding the boycott was often overshadowing the larger goal of the campaign. The fact remains, it's been more than 1,200 days since a Black character has headlined a solo title in DC Comics mainline continuity. We continue to believe this is an issue worth discussing and addressing. However, we also recognize that many fans and creators we care about felt the boycott unintentionally minimized books, characters, and creators whose work provides meaningful representation for women, LGBTQIA plus readers, people of color, and other marginalized communities. This was never our intention, and we apologize for that impact. We heard those concerns, and they play a major role in our decision to reevaluate the boycott. There's more. I'm not going to read the whole thing. If you want to read the whole thing, it's up on their website. It's up on comicsbeat.com. You can check it out for yourself. They talk more about FOC and why that's a major problem and how the DC So White campaign will continue even though the blackout is ending. Thoughts?
Well, want to get mine out of the way before you do yours?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing. Boycotts do work. There was the Target boycott a couple years back or something like that. I know the BDS movement boycotts divestments and sanctions for companies that are heavily invested into Israel is a thing that's active. It has hurt companies like Starbucks and McDonald's and stuff like that. So boycotts do work. But I think this one just A, timing was off, and B, not planned correctly. I think that there was a lot of wishy-washiness from the people leading it, and nobody really wanted to lead it. There was they were doing a live stream the Sunday of this. So after we had done the show last week, it was the Sunday afterwards. And a lot of the questions were like, I don't know what I can buy. Like, I want to support Shay Grayson in their book with Absolute Catwoman coming out, but I'm told not to buy DC. One person says, well, it's a full blackout. I'm sorry. That's just an acceptable loss that has to happen. And then 15 minutes later, they said, well, you can still buy stuff if your shop bought it, because then you're not breaking FOC. So technically you're not adding a pre-order to it. But like, I'm in my head, I'm like, no, then you're telling the shop to order more of the next issue. Like, that is just not how comic books work. And you're contradicting yourself in the planning of it, where it's like, buddies, you should have planned this out. You should have had clear goals on what this is and anticipated all questions that would have been. You should have anticipated the Pride Month question. That's a big deal. And I think at the end, with the way they canceled it, it does feel like, hey, this is the reason we canceled it, because of queer books. And it does feel a little bit of throwing someone under the bus, even though I don't think that's the intention, because I believe some of the people leading it are queer. So I don't want to make the assumption there. But it should have been planned in phases, if I'm being honest. If you're going to do it, you should be planning it with FOC in mind, saying, hey, end your pull is here, keep buying it. But now that we have a date, a month from now is when the full blackout happens. Planning things out. There are groups that do boycotts. You could have asked them about this and figured out a right way to do a boycott. And I think it was poorly planned. And my other issue is, these creators who made this were in the know enough to know that DC, I'm trying to say this without saying anything, but DC is making moves here. DC is this 1,200 in X days will not reach 1,300. Like, there are making moves that the creators who are making this know. So what's the point of starting a boycott with a win condition that is already happening? And in the interim, the creators that you supported back in February for the Dakota incident are now being fucked.
Yeah. That
part rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah. Couple things before I duck under the table and let Sean go, Sean. Number one, I mentioned last week that the boycott was essentially like shadow dropped. It wasn't from a lack of planning. Again, they knew the date. I knew about the boycott before it was announced, like weeks ago. It was always planned for that day, 1,200. The problem is, to Tyler's point, again, FOC. Like, you can't boycott stuff for June when people have already added their pull list and have already pulled those books. We talked about this ad nauseum like last week. So that piece of it is ill-timed. The biggest thing that my sort of last final thoughts on all of this as we move ahead is, we talked about this on Saturday, that at that point when we did the show last week, none of the actual Black creators that were impacted or to be impacted by the boycott had come out in support of it, or were hashtagging and whatever. And in the time after we did the show, you had folks like Stephanie Williams, who literally was on Threads shouting out her and Clayton Henry's Wonder Woman stuff, like, hey, go order it FOC. This is during the boycott, like when it was active. And then also shouting out Sanford Green's Lobo cover. Again, pre-order that. She went on a big shout out about Shay Grayson and Absolute Catwoman and mentioned sort of very indirectly, like, doesn't matter what's on the title, like it matters, right? Like it felt very much like she's talking about this because she went on like a multi-post sort of thing as also is happening. And I think and you saw all the other folks kind of chime in, again, not directly, but very much like we know what's going on because people are obviously on the internet. So the very fact that the actual Black creators that are in line to make the things that we are asking for were not coming out in support of a boycott of their work at the company was enough of a reason to kill the boycott right there. Because how are you going to ask for Black creators to make Black books, but then say in the same sentence, we can't support you right now, right? Like that piece of it. That's where I was, because I was so on board for the very idea of DC So White, and I continue to retweet some stuff about it because I just like we need to continue to be vocal about it, and the fact that it's a conversation and all these publications picked it up is huge. But the boycott, like, and it's not just because like, oh my god, I really need to read my Batman, I can't put down my Batman. No, it's because like it doesn't really make any sense. I think in some instances boycotts can be obviously very effective, but I also think, and this is maybe a hot take, boycotting is easy. It's easy to not buy something. It's easy to say, I'm not going to go shop at this place or do this thing because it doesn't require you doing anything outside of yourself. Like it's easy for people, especially who are on the socials, talking about, well, I'm not going to buy this book and that book. It's like, were you even buying these books in the first place, or were you on Read Comics Online with everybody else? So don't hit me with the like, you know, like I was like, you guys, show me your pull list, show me your haul from last week. Are you out here actually buying all these books anyway? And this is that can actually sacrifice for you to not buy these books anymore. Like that don't really track. And so that was that for me. That was a losing point. And like just the last thing I'll say is just I was very annoyed in the days after this that people got upset with people for not boycotting, as if to say like, why didn't y'all all fall in line with this? This is all your fault for pushing back on it and dissenting, as if like we're just supposed to do something because, and almost as if implying, and there's a lot of subtweeting going on, that like this is especially if you're a Black person and you didn't support this, you're being anti-Black. Like you're, I don't even know if I want to use the word, but the word I want to use here, because
I do not have a soundbite for that one. Don't worry.
Yeah, no. Because for not supporting it, like you're anti-Black, you must be MAGA, whatever. And it's like, no, it's like some people like to think about these things critically and really give it thought. Like, is this the right approach for this industry in this moment, given again what Tyler just alluded to, that like these things are happening slowly or not? And so it's good to actually stop and assess the situation before making decisions that, again, affect the people that you allegedly want to do the things and create the things that you want to happen. So that's where like I stood on all of this. And again, in the days after last weekend, it just became very clear that the people that in these positions were not down for this. And don't be going around blaming people for not all jumping on board something like sheep and calling us out, me out, you out, Sean, whatever, for not, again, falling in line. That's, to me, that's just completely and utterly bogus. That's pretty much all I have to say. Sean, yeah.
Wait, so you're saying it doesn't make sense to call people sheep for not listening to you? You mean a person is a sheep for not being a sheep?
Oh, we actually had sound for that. Holy cow.
That's a goat game sound. That's a goat, not really a sheep, but that's close enough.
Same thing.
Look, I think the boycott was ill-advised, and I have very rational, reasonable things to say about the boycott. I think it was wrong. I think it was ill-advised. I think that there were ways to do it that would have been better, that could have been effective. I agree with everything Tyler and Chris said. I don't need to belabor that. What I have to say is really more about one person. Tyler, why don't you run that audio one more time?
I don't have the full audio clip, but yeah.
Comic Pals, you about a stupid motherfucker.
So that was the response to what we said last week. And if you listened to last week's episode of the Comics Pals, you heard us talk about the DC Blackout. And you heard us, none of us, nobody, call anyone out their names, say anything inherently disrespectful about anyone involved. None of that. None of that. So the voice you just heard, Tyler, can you do that one more time?
Sure, yeah.
Comic pals, you about a stupid motherfucker.
Fair use,
That's
fair
the
use.
voice of the blurred without fear, aka Ernie, whatever the fuck his name is. Ernie, I'm talking to you. I did not call you out your name. I did not disrespect you. I didn't even use your name. I don't care about you.
Purposely.
Let me do this, please.
Yeah.
Let me do this. I don't care about you. You started a movement that I thought was dumb as shit. And we talked about it. If you don't like people talking about what you do and you can't handle the heat, get the fuck out the kitchen. That's loserish to me. Also, since we're going there, you're not about it. You do that behind the keyboard, behind the microphone. That's where you get your rocks off. That's how you denigrate people. I don't need to do that. I could see you in person. Then we can talk like men. But you wouldn't say that to me in person because I know you don't move like that. And you want to talk about a grift? I watched your last dummy video and I saw how you grifted and mentioned your book that's coming out in the same video in which you are telling people to not support DC, but to support Black creators. What are you? A grifter. And if you don't like it, stop doing it. Treat your audience with respect. Because you don't. You lie. I know things that I could use to air you out that I won't because I respect the space we're in. But I know things that you don't know I know. I have screenshots of things you don't know I know. You want to air it out? Watch your fucking mouth before you call someone stupid. Because you don't know me. You don't watch the show. You don't engage with us. You don't know what we do. You don't know me at all. And as far as the fact that we got a bump as a result of talking about the Blackout, you're right. It was the hottest topic in comics. That's not a you bump. He cares about your fat ass. That's not a you bump. That's a subject bump. Yeah, I'll take it. I'm not on here telling people not to buy DC Comics, and yet I'm talking about my comic and how they should support that. That's what you do. It's not what I do. It's not what I do at all. So if you want to talk, we could talk. If you want to run your mouth like you do, keep going. Keep going. I'm a small fish compared to you. You're doing me a favor. I'll take it. Thank you.
Oh, I thought Sean logged off. I thought it was a mic drop there for a second.
No.
I mean, like, the thing, like, that's the part that rubbed me the wrong way. It's like, I hate in the space of YouTube. I hate YouTube. I am on YouTube, but I hate YouTube because the drama does generate clicks. And I hate when, like, channels that I enjoy, and I know we're doing the thing. This is like Alamo Draft House saying, don't use your phone during the theater, but you have to order your food on your phone. I don't like when someone sees a bump in viewership because of drama and then fishes for that later on. That always bugs me, especially when I think you were doing good content in the first place. And also, like, yeah, there's no reason to go, like, to get personal with shit. Like, that's not, we purposely, like, before the show last week, we were like, hey, we don't want to do YouTube drama. So let's, like, not name names. Let's just talk about the content of what this is. And then just to see someone, like, just like, all right, shot across the bow is shitty.
I don't like messiness, right? I thought, looking back at the show last week, Sean, all of us here were pretty respectful. I mean, we've gone out of our way to acknowledge that the importance of the basis of the movement of DC So White without literally resorting to turning this into drama, which especially amongst, like, Black creators is ridiculous. You're perpetuating a stereotype amongst ourselves, which is just absurd. And the least of which, like, dude, I gotta shout this out really quickly. Like, that whole saga of him beefing with Comics Explained, which, again, some of them may be valid, but dog, why are we making 30-minute videos attacking another content creator who wasn't themselves being openly disrespectful to anyone? It basically you're literally complaining about inactions they haven't done, but not about something they actually did, and turned it and blew it up into this whole thing that ultimately benefited you because it's some of your highest performing videos or whatever, which I just think is again absurd. You're criticizing Sean in this show for benefiting from that, but you literally kind of benefited from starving beef with the big dog, with the biggest dog out there. So that's the pot. Well, it's kind of an unfortunate pot calling the kettle black. I'll let that go.
Dude. Of all the YouTubers in this space, who is the one making problems with other YouTubers? Who is the one calling out other black men out their name? You're all about blackness, but you're calling black men out their name in front of white people. That's what you do. In front of company, that's how you move? I thought we didn't move like that. That's how I know you're not about that life. That's how I know you're a loser. That's how I know you suck. I don't even need to know you personally because I would never have done that. I told the Comics Pal specifically, I do not want to beef with a black man on YouTube, but you made me do it because you're a fucking bum. That's why. And that's all I'm ever going to say on this subject again, because this is not the kind of way I want to move on this platform. I don't want to use this platform for this. This is the one and only time I'm going to address this loser on my channel. After this, he's dead. Fuck
Well, on
outta
that
here.
note, let me read some super chats regarding this.
Go for it.
Yeah, so Frank here says it's frustrating the boycott folded so quick because it sends the message to publishers that this movement isn't serious and that they can just be written off as online chatter that can't actually organize. And this is another issue I had with it too. When you have a platform like a lot of these creators had, which they do, you know, like Ernie does have a platform, Jay Penumbra does have a platform, a lot of people do across TikTok, across Reels, across YouTube. When you do this movement and it's half baked, every subsequent boycott or movement becomes dubious.
Yep.
And like, if you're going to take that first shot, you need to hit. You need to know what you're doing because that fucks everything else up for everyone else down the line. Especially in a world where DC might be bought by the Ellisons or anything, we don't even actually need to boycott then. But now it's just going to be like, oh, another one of those DC boycotts. Like, well, all right, that's going to last 4 days.
No one's going to care.
Yeah, and it's bad, you know? So that's where it's like, man, like, the planning was important, and it felt like they just were like, hey, here's a number, here's 1,200 days, well, let's just do it then because it's a clean number, which that seems like a move for aesthetics rather than actual planning.
I just thought of something that I need to say because it's so funny to me. And I'm not going to don't ask, I'm not going to explain this any further because it's something I shouldn't even say probably. I know that this individual, Ernie, got so angry with someone behind the scenes because he thought they called him out his name. And it didn't even happen. I know that. I know how soft he is. I'm not talking out of school. I don't talk about people without knowing. I know the level of softness because I know someone who knows him. I know the level of softness that we're dealing with. This is not someone who is really about that life, you know? So fuck him. Dead. Done. Smoked on his pack. It sucked. I'm done.
It stems in it. Sugoi Death says, I'm gonna do this in as much oomph as I can give. Get it, Sean. Did I do that right?
I had the right tone, yeah.
Come on now.
You have to do the emojis. Mike Hank. I always feel like that's a prank name somehow. Mike Hank, 2896. How could create a boycott and fuck over the creators you want to help? On purpose too? Idiotic. I mean, sometimes boycotts do fuck over people who matter, but in a space as small as comics, you got to be more specific than this.
It's too hard line. It was too hard line.
Yeah.
Again, it was just like taking the approach that you would do to a business that has literally been openly, directly racist, and applying that to this situation is just it's not the same thing, right? And again, you can't say again, it's talking out of both sides of your mouth. You can't say we want black things from black creators. Also screw black creators. That's sorry, you're gonna get caught in the crossfire of this thing so that you can benefit from this thing. It doesn't track at all. And that's why, again, why, like I said earlier, those same black creators did not like mess with this at all.
Always look at who the benefactor is. In any situation, it doesn't matter what you're talking about, you have to look for who benefits. DC didn't benefit. Your retailer didn't benefit. We didn't. I mean, we benefited, but fans didn't benefit. So who benefited? And I think when you figure out who benefits, you can figure out who something is for.
A little bit
So
of
who is it
follow the
for?
money.
When someone tells you where to spend your money at, and at some point they tell you themselves, they tell you don't spend it over here, spend it over here. I feel like you know what you're looking at. I know what I'm looking at when I see it. I play the same game. We're both content creators, which is a word I hate, but we are that, and so I know what's happening here. I know what I'm seeing. Rami Darwish with a 5 spot, and that's what I like about Sal, Omar, and you guys. You don't start fights just for the sake of it. Dude, Rami, you've been watching us for years. I would never get on here and want to do this.
You've never called out a creator before.
No. I would
It's
never get on
gross.
here and want to do this. I hate this. But I'm also not going to stay shut. That's not in my character either. I can't do that. But
You just don't tweet, so like you don't have that outlet either.
Right, and I wouldn't even tweet about it, bro. I
that's
wouldn't
just
even.
not what you do.
I don't want to.
I'll
talk
subtweet.
about.
I did subtweet. I gotta say, I did. You know, I might have got a little messy with it, but yeah, it's just.
Fuck it. All right, I'm glad we had to switch the order around because I don't want to end the show like this. I want to talk about comics. So let's talk about a major announcement that Marvel made, which is a new Avengers #1. We all knew it was coming. We all knew it had to be here. And we finally are getting it. We know who's doing it. Chip Zdarsky. I don't think that's a big surprise.
Mm-mm.
The art part. We got Marco Cicchetto.
And I say to that, do we?
We got Marco Cicchetto and David Messina.
That's the joke I made, I think, on somebody's tweet about this. I think it was Comics Kirby. I was like, can't wait to see David Messina by issue 3. Which,
you know what?
I like David Messina's art. Like, if you told me he was the main artist, I'd be like, oh, yeah, fuck it, sure.
I feel like I read somewhere someone said that Cicchetto was actually hurt during
I
Ultimate
did see
Spider-Man.
that. Yeah.
And if that's the case, I feel bad because he is one of my favorite artists. And I'll speak for myself. I was very unhappy with how Ultimate Spider-Man turned out from an art perspective. But if he was hurt, then obviously I have no smoke for that. Like I'm sorry that happened to him.
But yeah, like here's the thing. I am enjoying Chip's run on Cap on I'm excited for Armageddon. Comes out next week, so we'll see what that's like.
Can't wait.
That's exciting. And I gotta say, there's a couple people online also saying this is Chip's reheating Bendis' nachos with this lineup, because this lineup is Wolverine, Spider-Man, Luke Cage, Daredevil, which I think is his first full-on. No, he was an Avenger briefly under New Avengers in a different volume, but then Captain Marvel. Here's the thing: I'm a simple guy. This book is speaking to me in particular. These are my favorite characters on a small Avengers team that isn't McKay's run, which I liked for other reasons. But that run was like, hey, here are all gods. Who are they going to fight against? This is kind of the most power here is Captain Marvel. Everyone else can barely get off the ground physically. So, yeah. So it's I'm excited for this, and I do hope Cicchetto can Devil's Reign fucking slapped. And I hope that's more of that. It's more of Chip's, Daredevil run in terms of the consistency with it. Because I think that's going to be good. And I know they also mentioned there will be more characters introduced to this lineup throughout. This is really just our starting lineup. But yeah.
Before we talk too much about the lineup, I do want to get this super chat from Atomic Hound, who dropped a bomb on us. $49.99. Dropped a bomb. Bomb, Tyler.
And then bomb. Damn it. Oh,
There you go.
there it is. There it is.
There you go. He says, able to rejoin for the last discussion, voting for the pals with my wallet. Out. Woof. Thank
My
you.
guy.
Thank
Ooh,
you.
we're
I
gonna
appreciate
finally
that.
meet, right?
Dude,
Yes,
so
we
good.
are.
Hell yeah.
Atomic Hound, man.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, quick thoughts on this the Avengers announcement. So I'm coming in from the perspective of someone who's so funny to say this because I grew up reading Marvel first before I really became a DC super fan. So I am like looking for excuses to come back to reading Marvel consistently. And obviously an Avengers title is like a pretty big entry point, right? And this is going to be after the event. And typically Marvel does these sort of, and DC does it too, like these resets of like the universe around an event or post an event, and then like these team books become the centerpiece of what they're going to be doing forward. So I look at this announcement and this lineup as like a mission statement of what we're trying to do, especially because it's Chip, who's kind of in the driver's seat at Marvel right now creatively. So I don't want to be like a negative Nancy about this, but I'm gonna be some degree. Like this did nothing for me at all. Like, and these are characters that I like, but to the point of this just feels like a lineup I've seen before. Like it feels like a lineup. Like I can distinctly picture, and someone posted in the Discord a really funny Photoshop of Daredevil over the thing. But this, I can think of the Bendis Eminem New Avengers, and it's Carol, and it's Luke, and it's Logan, and it's Peter, and I'm like, yeah, I've seen that before, and I'm sure Chip has a greater thing that he's going to be doing, and whoever this mystery character is. But this doesn't like do for me at this just in this moment looking at the lineup. It doesn't do for me the way that I'm sure when like Morrison and Howard Porter relaunched JLA, and it was like this big thing of like Batman's back, Superman's back, we got Kyle Rayner, we're bringing the big seven back. This is a mission statement moment of like resetting. Or when Bendis didn't do Avengers, and it's like, wait, Spider-Man's here, Wolverine's here. Like this was a big, a new, completely reinvented twist on the concept that is going to drive people back to Avengers, whatever. This for me, as someone again who's coming this from the outside of wanting to get back into Marvel, this didn't excite me. Like I'm sure the book will potentially be good because it's a great creative team. Like there's no question about that. And again, I don't want to just poo-poo it like from the outset. It just didn't like get me all hyped about it because I feel like this lineup of characters interacting together, I've seen it before.
I mean, you literally have this. I mean,
Yeah.
you swap one character out for another, and this is a roster we have seen. And I think that I look, I'm really excited for this.
Yeah.
I am super pumped. This is up my alley. Yes, Chip Zdarsky absolutely has a thing for taking other people's like concepts and using them because he did it with Failsafe. This roster is a Bendis ass roster if I've ever seen one. And you can make some arguments about his Daredevil, but I love it. I love it. I love the aesthetic of this too. Like the impression that I'm getting here is that Armageddon is going to end really badly, and that there's going to be some avenging necessary.
Yeah.
And that is super exciting to me. The tagline there doesn't say Earth's Mightiest Heroes; it says Earth's Mightiest Survivors. And there's skulls all over the place. So there are bodies that are going to be caught by the Red Hulk. That's the impression that I have here.
Yeah.
And that's what I need. I need Marvel Comics with stakes. I need a reason for there to be an Avengers. Not just, we need an Avengers book on the stands, let's make one. Nah, let's get a real good reason. Reacting to the world, you know? I love that so much. And then also, I don't think that we know the full roster yet. I'm pretty sure this roster has one more character who will be in issue 1.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure we will know who that is through Armageddon. I think I know who it is now.
I'm pretty sure I know who it is too, yeah.
Every Avengers team, in my opinion, is not complete without one of these three people: Cap, Iron Man, or Thor. What if I told you I'm firmly confident that Captain America will end up on this team?
Oh, I'm firmly confident that a Captain America will end up on this team.
Which Captain America?
I think Steve Rogers will be on this team, but I don't think he will be alive.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. I don't think it's Steve or Sam.
Think it's Bucky?
No,
I think it's David Colton.
Colton?
Yeah,
Sure.
the
Sure.
chip.
If you read Weapons of Armageddon, Colton does have some new tool sets under his cape, and Logan did that. So I think Logan being on this team is an indicator that this team reeks of guilt. Like, look at these characters. They all deal with guilt constantly. Maybe not Luke, but Logan does. Spider-Man does. Daredevil, he's Irish Catholic. Come on. And Carol deals a lot with, guilt and the stuff that she's done too, especially post Civil War too. I think the idea of having to reel from the effects of Armageddon and the actions of maybe even the Avengers, honestly, is something that these are the people that are surviving and they're having to deal with that guilt. And I think Logan might have guilt for giving somebody a power set they weren't ready for.
Mhm.
Interesting. Okay. I like that. Mr. Negative said they said there's also a new character on the team whose first appearance is in this book.
Oh, another origin box?
It's gotta be my guy. It's gotta be the return, the resurrection, the moment we've all been waiting for. Paul's coming back, baby.
Let's
power.
go. Let's go.
If they don't bring Paul back with a symbiote or some kind of power set, I'm going to be very angry with this company. I'm going to have to start a boycott. A boycott on behalf of Paul.
I agree. Hayden's Hideout said, I gave the controversial opinion last night that I wish it was Kane as Spider-Person on the team. He could be Shield's inside manipulative man. Interesting. Kane, what is he up to? He was like the Spider-Man of like the West Coast for a bit, I believe. Scarlet Spider.
Dude, I don't know.
Where's common sense? Fill me in. Fill me in.
For real.
I will say, like, the reheating the nachos thing, I think is applicable here. But guess what? I fucking love nachos.
Yeah.
And honestly, one of the better foods to reheat.
That is fair. Like, if you're going to sort of recreate an era of Avengers, it's not a bad era.
Yeah.
To redo. Like, these are characters that I like seeing together. I like seeing Wolverine and Spider-Man and Luke Cage together. Like, I love that whole Bendis imminent time of New Avengers. So, like, I'm not mad at this. Like, you know what I mean? It just didn't like make me go, oh wow, they're doing this with these characters. It's just I'm eager to see it. And again, I trust Chip Zdarsky. Like, his cap run has been good, and I'm sure the art will be gorgeous for whenever we get it. But yeah, I'm gonna check it out. Like, they're gonna get me that $5.99. But yeah.
I'm getting a blind bag. I'm gonna be a fucking idiot.
Oh
yeah.
I hope, I mean, based on the background of this cover, it doesn't look very good for the state of the world. Like, it's broken columns, skulls, and a volcano bomb. Like, that's bad. But if New York City still exists, I do hope they touch on Luke being the mayor. Like, if that's just dropped in the 5 years we've had Luke Cage, he's finally in a prominent position again. And we've never had a noteworthy story of him as the mayor. The one that we were going to have got canceled prematurely because too woke. And the most that's been written was a miniseries during Gang War, which is like 2 or 3 issues. And Al Ewing writing him as one of the whodunit characters for All New Venom in the beginning. And I think dropping that is such a loss to never actually really chew on the meat that is Luke Cage as the mayor. And I hope he still is in this and we can play with that a bit.
I think Luke is going to be a big part of this. I really hope so. I don't think Chip put him on here for no reason. One of the pieces of art we have, I guess it's by Chip.
It's a Chip variant. Yep.
It has Luke unbuttoning his shirt, and it's a collared shirt. So that makes me think that they're leaning into the idea that he is someone in a governmental position, and that he's getting back to the streets. So that's a good signal. This is what I need. I need Marvel to bring back the importance of the Avengers, and this feels like it's doing that. And if they can pull that off, that for me is a huge sign of good things to come. So, all right, we did it. We did it. I do want to get some more wheel spins in because we do owe a few more. We have been tardy on that. That's on me.
Highlight a book.
You want me to highlight Ben 10?
That was amazing.
That was a low light.
That was so
I'm trying
funny.
to think. I read something else this week. What did I talk? I already talked about X-Men, right?
Well, why don't we see if Chris has anything to talk about?
Yeah, sure. Let the guest go.
Yeah, I think I actually saved something. Let me see. I have a
Always
pile
prepared.
of
This is what I like about Chris.
Well, no, it's just that, and my desk is a mess right now, so I just got comics and stuff on here. Yeah, because I think I shouted this out yesterday on the Twitters. But Erica Henderson, let's give her flowers because I really enjoyed this Harley and Ivy book.
Yep.
This was the final issue of the miniseries. But if you read the issue, get to that last page, might be a hint that it might be coming back. Which is really, really exciting. But if you haven't been reading this, I remember picking this up at the LCS just on a whim because it just happened to be there, and I ended up reading all 6 issues of this book. But it's really delightful. It's basically takes us back to, and it's narrated by Harley and Ivy in the present, but takes us back to when they first met and how they got together and like how Harley left the Joker. And it's just really this fun little journey and adventure of them sort of beginning their relationship and journey together, and gives us some really good insight into what makes their dysfunctional relationship work. And it's like their individual dysfunctions sort of meld perfectly. And Erica Anderson wrote it, drew it. It's like super cartoony. She does like super awesome, fun, energetic faces and facial expressions and action and movement across like double page spreads and everything. And then I think she writes a really good Harley and a really good Ivy. And so this was a book that when this comes out in trade, like go pick it up. It's such a fun read. We might get more. I really want to see more from Erica Henderson. I think she really has a bit of a niche in this, doing these kind of whimsical books, because she did the Squirrel Girl book, I think, for the Marvel Webtoons or whatever. This was one of my favorite reads of this year so far, and I'm excited at the possibility that we might actually get more. So Harley and Ivy, Life and Crimes, fun time.
Love that. I didn't check it out, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, I read the first issue and I was like, I kind of want to read this one. It's complete, but I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm a big Erica Henderson fan.
And given the state of where Harley and Ivy are, like in their own books right now, because they're kind of like broke up because Ivy's on that boss stuff, it's good to actually read them together again, which is nice.
We got an influx of super chats here. Mike Hank with the 199. Can I get thoughts on the Knicks before the show ends? Dude, if I give you my thoughts on the Knicks, we're going to lose half our viewers because you guys probably love the Knicks. I don't. And those of you who don't love the Knicks probably don't want to hear us talking basketball. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a Lakers guy, so I don't think you want to hear from me, Mike.
Oh,
yeah, bro. What's wrong with the Lakers? Whoa, Chris, you look like you just took mental damage.
Oh, I did. 45% critical hit. Oh my lord, dog. The Lakers? You could have said anything. Well, no, if you said Boston, that'd have been worse. But like, oh, Sean, okay.
I should be a Boston fan.
I'm gonna have to readjust my pals tier list at this point because
I'm back on top.
Okay,
Tyler S here again. Welcome back.
Ask the rest of the pals what basketball team they like. They'll watch it.
New York Liberty.
There you go.
Good answer, Tyler. Good answer.
Yep. The Woker strikes again.
Just Unseen with $4.99. This reveal didn't do anything for me. While DC feels creative, forward, and fresh, this being the next direction for Marvel feels unexciting.
I don't disagree with that. It is a little it's not fresh, but also like the direction of Marvel has kind of been a little stanky lately. So like I maybe want something that's a little more familiar.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm excited, but not everyone will be. That's valid. And then Ivy Moon with 199. I wish we had one more lady on the Avengers.
I agree. I think it's a little mix there. You know who I want? Songbird. Put Songbird on the Avengers. Songbird rules.
See, I think Songbird could play the Spider-Woman position, where you don't fully know what she might be doing, but she's powerful, and you need her on the team because she is a good asset. I could definitely see that. My thought went to She-Hulk, just because this team doesn't have a Hulk on it. Not that an Avengers team must, but I think it would be cool if they had her. So
she's free.
Yep. Unless
do you think this is an indicator, like that they're harkening back to the Bendis era? Do you think we will also have a new Avengers team, like a dual situation, maybe a Mighty and a regular Avengers?
I wish, but I don't think so.
Because there are some prominent people missing, but they're a little busy right now.
It took them a while to launch Mighty because New was like
Yeah, good point.
2005 or 6, and then Mighty was like 08 or something. So it took them a little bit. And if they are going down that same road, I think it will take a similar amount of time. We need the Avengers to be back in a major way. Yeah.
Coming out of Avengers versus X-Men, we did get that split because Jonathan Hickman did Avengers, and then you had New Avengers, which basically was a Illuminati book, right?
Yes.
So I mean, it really just honestly depends on what happens in Armageddon, right? That's going to dictate all of this. And if there is a second team book, there will be like a direct purpose for them to serve and exist that is counter to what they're doing with the Avengers.
Agreed. Matt Cosmo with a crazy comparison. Chip Zdarsky is the Anthony Edwards of comics.
What's that mean? Wait,
I
hold
know
on.
obviously who Anthony Edwards is, the basketball player, but why would you compare the two? I don't understand it, Matt.
I'm trying. It's funny, but I'm just trying to figure out what that actually means.
He's okay. He's a Timberwolves guy.
Yeah.
Man, this is like I'm trying to do some, it's like trying to read Greek for me, trying to piece this one together. I think this is the most mistargeted audience super chat we've ever gotten.
I'm here for it, Matt. I don't get what you mean necessarily, but I'm here for it.
Yes, I'm going to say yes, I agree.
The only thing I can think of is that like Anthony Edwards was the anointed one, and then he kind of hasn't done anything. Maybe he means that about Chip.
Oh, okay.
He's gotten to the conference finals twice. Like he's done some stuff, but not the big thing. Maybe that's what Matt means.
That I have
Okay.
to imagine that's what Matt is saying, because that's the only comparison I see.
I mean, this is the guy who wrote Howard the Duck, and now he's spearheading the line a decade later. You know, like it is a cool trajectory to see.
Entertain me with an interesting thought. Instead of Peter, they should have had Silk.
I do love Silk. They've kind of
What-
infantilized her lately, though, and I don't really agree with.
What do you attribute that to?
Not knowing what to do with her. Like she's either like she was portrayed as Spider-Man's equal, essentially. Like came up with the same spider bite, same age range. She should be, you know, college, like post-college aged, but like she's treated like Spider-Girl in the Spider-Versity thing. Like just like she's like almost like devolved Miles' age. She makes jokes saying like, "Hey, I'm older than you guys. What are you doing?" And then like she was just a side character in the all new Spider-Gwen. She's just like the bassist for Gwen's band.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, we'll see. We will see. I have high hopes. I understand not. But Armageddon is going to play itself out, and when that wraps, we'll be in Avengers land. So, we'll find out more details soon on that. Wait, was that even what? Yeah. Let's spin the wheel again. Let's do it a couple more times.
What do we got? Water.
Oh yes, thank you.
Hydrate. Okay, I just got to pick our faces here that
wait.
don't include Marco.
Oh, you mean so we don't have a repeat of last week where Marco was clearly the chosen one?
Yeah.
Always the chosen one. Marco's the goat.
Is he the GOAT or is he the WOAT?
Oh, he can't defend himself. Rude.
That's the only time we attack each other on this program.
That's true.
This is when we're not around.
It's cheap shots across the board.
Oh man, what do you guys think? Should we play the WOAT game today?
I think Woat's kind of
Let's do Woat.
fun because
Do
there's a
Woat.
lot of characters on here that are good. So, let's do the Woat.
All right, so let me read off the rest of these names and then we'll jump into the game. How about
Okay.
that? So thank you to these are the patrons. If you want a shout out, patreon.com/thecomicspals. Join the Palsverse tier or greater gets you a nickname, a shout out, and an origin on this program. Thank you to Amin, the Almighty Perez, Houston, the Century Kid, Murphy, Young Dende, Faith Fighter, DeWoody, Cosmic November, Carter the Owl, Shogunate, Steve Swarm Canaris, Scripture, the Wardens of the Word, Jack of Some Trades, Cloutier, Emperor MD, Johnny, Mad Max, Pliskin, Jack Grimstone Grimmy, Eli the Mothman, Patrick Zay, whose origin is coming up next, my brother. the Captain Chris Collective, Ray Lytle, Superdrop, Into Gray, Ash the Golem, Just Unseen, Anonymous, and Thomas, Dr. Crane, DC Crane as well,
Whoa.
and Spider Mankey. You guys are all over us. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you.
DC's Dr. Crane is a supporter?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
And it looks like Matt Cosmo rejoined us, actually. So thank you to you as well. I love you guys.
Dr. Crane, I'm horrified of women, so do with that what you will. Should we spin this?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. All right, who is it going to be first? Oh, okay, Sean, you're safe. It's me and Chris.
Oh, wow.
No.
What is up?
Here you go, Chris.
Oh, no.
Who's it going to be is the question.
We're
Who was the
voting, right?
worst? Yeah.
Worst? Who is the worst of all time? We have to figure out why. Hold on, is this freaking out on me? It's not going to be this. Oh, let's. All right, hold on. It broke on me. Give me a sec. I got to fix it.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Tech
Um,
difficulties? We got some
Well,
problems on
when you
here?
put 300 images into a fucking web-based client, it sometimes does not want to work correctly.
Fair.
All right. Let's see. Let's see if we can roll it again.
Yeah, let's see what we get.
Why is
Clay,
it
I
not-
can't wait to do Pat's origin.
Okay, hold on. I got to redo this. Let's see.
All right.
Let me see. Do I have too many windows open with this? I don't know. I'll try it one more time. Otherwise, I might have to just randomly spin this myself.
Let me get this super chat real quick. Matt Cosmo, the 499. Let me cook. Ant Edwards, Chip, looks like the next Kobe MJ, Bendis new Avengers roster, but it's reheated nachos from the Ashes Chills. I feel you. What are we looking like, Tyler?
I'm gonna try it one more time. I think it's overloading. Let's see.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and just make it a little less options, so it doesn't freak out. Okay, it ran. It picked one at random. It didn't spin the wheel though. That's what seems to be the issue.
Okay. Well, where did it land?
It looks like it landed on Toxin.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it just picked one. It didn't do the animation. I think the animations was broken. But Toxin. Why is Toxin the worst of all time? This actually might be pretty straightforward.
Can I go first?
Yeah.
Let me just get this out of the way. Really
Rip the band-aid off.
When you start talking.
Okay.
Why is it? It's still rolling. I think the animation's broken. We're gonna say it's Toxin, not Tombstone. It just went to Tombstone for some reason.
Okay. Well, I was okay. Here we go. Toxin. Toxin is toxic, if we're being honest. Toxin is everything wrong with modern day Spider-Man, modern day Marvel. This is a character that we already had Venom. We already had Carnage. The world did not need more symbiotes. And yet Toxin represents this factory line, this assembly line of the same character that we've gotten over and over and over and over and over. I'm filibustering over again, right? There's just a character that does nothing to add anything to the Spider mythos. Get rid of Toxin, less Toxin, because they're obnoxious. That's it.
All right.
We got fucking Cory Booker over here.
Yeah.
Trying to get my Johnny Cochran on.
Oh, now the wheel just started spinning by itself. Wow. Okay. It officially landed on Hella, but that doesn't count. We're doing Toxin. All right. Toxin. Ready, Sean? Toxin is the worst character of all time because he is redundant derivative, quite literally derivative of a 90s creation that is Venom. It is the son of the symbiote, essentially. Does not have any real personality outside of it being Venom's son and this mindless beast that can control things and tries to, I don't know, affect things. I think the most recently Toxin has attached itself to is it Rick Jones to be another superhero in the vein of like a heroic Venom? But again, even that turn feels reductive and derivative. So it's just pointless. He's not even a cool design. It's this kind of like shit red with a little bit of green. It looks like shit. Character is shit. Toxin's dumb.
Woof. All
W.
right.
Tyler.
I did say
W.
shit
Tyler.
red, which means like I feel like I should go to my doctor if that's what shit is to me.
Both, yeah, that's crazy. I don't know what shit red is, but both of you made impassioned speeches. Very, very much you hate Toxin. I don't think that was acting at all.
No.
I think you guys have hate. And so
Ooh.
we're gonna let that poll run.
It's
What's
bumping
up?
back and forth.
Why? No, you guys should not be voting for me. I don't know anything about Toxin.
Did you know about Toxin before this?
Yeah, I knew about Toxin. I don't
Okay.
know like the in-depth of the character. I just know that
I'd say
he's
the
just, like,
coolest part about Toxin.
a redundant symbiote.
Yeah. The coolest part of Toxin, I think, is his Marvel Legends action figure. That thing is rad. But like it's cool in action figure form. But
I think I would have just said who and let the time run.
That's not, Sean, I kid you not. That was literally my first thought.
That
I'm saving that for another character if I ever come back down the road. Just like, what? What is that?
Oh
man,
shit.
okay, we have a Toxin stand in the chat.
Oh shit.
There's
Who is
always
it?
one.
It's Hayden. That's his goat, apparently. That's a symbiote
What?
goat. Insane.
What? You're the one. We
You're the
found the one.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. You know what? I think you guys think we should end it. What do you
Just
think?
call it. Rip the
All
band-aid off
right.
for me.
This is guest privilege here.
This
You
is-
guys didn't actually listen to me. Like filibuster.
Liberal.
Oh man. Okay. Chris taking it with 57%. Apparently he convinced you that Toxin is the worst of all time. Tyler with 30%, neither with 13%. I know
That's
who
high.
voted for that.
That's Hayden.
Yeah, that is hated.
And in the meantime, we do have some super chats I want to kind of knock out here too. So I don't give Chris any time to gloat. Matt Cosmo following up saying, "Let me cook." And Edwards.
I read that.
Oh, you read that one already. Okay. Then the other one is Mike Hank. He said Hickman is like James Harden circa 2026. Washed?
No.
That's some
No,
Is that
that's
what he said?
insane.
No.
That's what he's saying. But the problem is that Harden never brought home chips. Like Hickman has chips. Let's not play.
Hickman's in the GOAT conversation.
Hickman
like, for
is
real.
he's one of my 3 GOATs, and his career is not even close to being over.
Well, I mean, he kind of feels like he's in retirement phase right now.
I don't think so. Retirement?
I think he's still got some in the
What's
tank,
the most recent Hickman book you love?
That I loved Avengers vs. Aliens. No,
Fair,
there's no sucking teeth. That shit was fire.
Fair.
Yeah, come on now. The only shit I haven't loved was freaking Gods.
No, you need to tell me a mainline continuity book. That this is what matters here.
Well, shit. I don't even remember the last mainline continuity book brother wrote. No, that's not true. Period.
Gods.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think Hickman is in that era, in that James Harden era. Whoa.
That's harsh.
Oof. Yeah.
James Harden could never do Ultimate Spider-Man.
Bro, but where's James Harden's even his like where's his Avengers? He never did an Avengers. He doesn't have that.
No.
He's a basketball player. Why would he be writing comics?
Some do. There's crossover. Well, actually, I can't think of one. Well, Shaq's about to do something. in
That's true with
comics.
Stephanie Williams.
Jack
Yeah.
Fu was amazing.
And
Yeah,
and
it's fucking fire. Whoa, I feel like we're throwing the title of GOAT around too easily. I like Chip, but GOAT. Oh, we're talking about Jonathan Hickman, not Chip
Hickman.
Starsky.
No.
Chip Starsky's not in my GOAT conversation, but not everybody has to be. I think that's okay.
is there like a
Um,
greatest of this time? Like there's like all time, sure. But like this time, I really like Chip stuff right now.
The GOT,
Yeah, the got.
the greatest of this time. All right, guys. Chris, where can we find you everywhere?
Yes, Chris covers comics on YouTube, at the Chris Anton on Twitter. You can find me there. I can't wait for HeroesCon, PalsCon next week, man. Let's freaking go.
Exciting. And Even though we'll be away, there will be a show.
There will be a show. We don't know when exactly we're going to do it. We'll keep you posted. It will probably have to be, it has to be on Saturday.
Yeah.
When on Saturday, we'll let you know. Probably at night. So if you want some late night pals, come hang out with us Saturday. And if you're going to be there, please come say hello to us. We don't bite, despite my hostility earlier, my hostilicus. For the majority of you, I'm a decent, happy-go-lucky guy. I'll be really excited to meet you. I think I speak for all the pals when I say that. So come say hello to us. It's fun.
I do bite.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
He's like a biter.
Yeah.
all right. Shit.
I got those Jackie Kennedy teeth. Looking like she's chewing on
Oh,
sheet
my
metal.
God. Thank you guys so much for what. Chris, did I give you the opportunity to plug already?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do it again.
Thank you guys. Shit, Chris covers comics. Why
Yeah.
not?
I guess.
Absolutely. Tuesday, we will not be live. Monday, Pals Previews, watch it. Thursday at 8 p.m. Sorry?
We will be live Tuesday for the Q&A.
Oh, yes, the Q&A, the 7K QA. What am I saying? 7K QA. Come hang out. It's going to be fun. Thursday, 8 p.m. Pals Polls. Then Saturday at some point we'll be live and in person, all of us together. So that'll be a lot of fun. Thank you so much.